Breadcrumb deliver results, period. Call them today, 559-578-4800, 578-4800, or go online to breadcrumbcyber.com, because evidence is everywhere.
Clean and healthy water is essential for living your best life. LifeSource is the whole home water system that will change your life. LifeSource gives you filtered and delicious water from every tap, filtering out the bad stuff and keeping the good stuff for a healthier, happier you. No maintenance needed. New customers can get a free APA-Pure antibacterial filter, valued at $825 with qualifying purchase. Call 559-330-1850, lifesourcewater.com. LifeSource, taste and feel the difference.
I thought learning a language would be too much work. Then I discovered Babbel. They make learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes. Quick and easy. And soon, you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
My friend from Italy said my accent and pronunciation is perfect. It's because Babbel's lessons are designed by language teachers and voiced by real native speakers. Each lesson is like living in another country for 15 minutes.
I love that there's all kinds of ways to learn. Babbel's podcast or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
You learn words and phrases you actually use in real conversations.
In 3 weeks, I was starting to speak in another language. So easy.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than Babbel.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Solar Negotiators wants people to know about our new Power Shift program. So we're offering $1,500 off per smart battery to customers now through May 31st. Be the first to experience the Power Shift. Call Solar Negotiators today for your free quote.
News Talk, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media Station.
KMJ. Cloudy and 60 at Radio City. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. President Joe Biden here in California signing an executive order to increase the number of background checks to buy guns.
Last year, after the mass shooting in Buffalo, New York, and Uvalde, Texas, I signed into law, after being both places, a bipartisan Safer Communities Act, most significant gun safety law in almost 30 years. Today, I'm announcing another executive order that will accelerate and intensify this work to save more lives more quickly.
Biden speaking right now in Monterey Park, where a shooter killed 11 victims at a dance hall earlier this year. Fox's Gurnell Scott has more on the president's trip.
From there, he plans to travel to Las Vegas, where he is scheduled to take part in a fundraising reception for the Democratic National Committee. The president says he plans to run for re-election in 2024, but as of now, has not made those plans official. Gurnell Scott, Fox News.
Effective immediately, the Fresno County Sheriff's Office is closing the Kings River from Pine Flat Dam to the Tulare and Kings County lines. Additionally, the San Joaquin River is closed from Millerton Dam to the Merced County line. The decision made due to continuous large amounts of rainfall and water runoff throughout the county, which is causing extremely dangerous conditions. A levee break in Monterey County continues to keep the farming community of Pajaro closed due to flooding.
The water just came right there to there this morning, but all this was full of dirt, mud.
Rigoberto Estrada spent the day cleaning up some of the mud around his home. That job will be nothing compared to getting rid of what's inside of it.
It's full of water, all the basement.
The basement now holds about 5 feet of mud and water.
We don't have any food. We don't have any water.
Some who decided not to evacuate and ride out the height of the flood are now abandoning town, even as waters have largely receded. Others who did leave would like to get back in, but they can't, as the town is sealed off. If you leave, you cannot come back.
But here, I'd rather have people frustrated and mad at me than dead.
Sheriff Tina Nieto says the emergency is ongoing.
That was Fox 26 News anchor Monty Torres. The city of Visalia declaring a state of emergency in effect through March 20th. City leaders say so far crews have diverted water and avoided major flooding in most areas, but the water levels remain high and residents are advised to get sandbags and prepare for a possibility of waterways spilling over. A Russian fighter jet collided with a U.S. drone over the Black Sea. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby.
We are going to continue to fly and operate in international airspace over international waters. The Black Sea belongs to no one nation, and we are going to continue to do what we need to do for our own national security interests in that part of the world.
Kirby says President Biden has been briefed on the collision. California's top farm leader is on a mission in Japan. KMJ's Ag Director Don York has details.
The trade mission to Japan kicked off this week with a series of meetings and events highlighting the strong cooperation between California and Japan. Karen Ross, Secretary of the California Department of Food and Agriculture, met with Japan's Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries. According to a department announcement, Secretary Ross talked about trade and market access for agricultural products. Other topics on the visit to Japan include port infrastructure and climate change issues. Also on the schedule this week, stopping to see California-grown supermarket promotions. Japan is California's fourth largest agricultural export market, valued at more than $1.6 billion, with crops such as raisins and almonds leading the list. Don York, KMJ News.
On Wall Street, the Dow ended up 336 points, closing at 32,155. The S&P 500 added 64 points. NASDAQ gained 239. Now here's Fox 26's Justin Willis with our Tuesday forecast.
Stormy weather continues through tonight, further impacting already swollen rivers and streams, keeping us under a flood watch through tomorrow morning. About a half to a full inch of rain expected on the valley floor with today's storm, and 2 to 4 inches of rain in the mountains below 7,000 feet. Above that, a winter storm warning with 2 to 8 feet of snow and 65-mile-an-hour winds. Finally, a high wind advisory for the west side and coastal range until late tonight, with speeds up to 70 miles an hour. Highs today are in the low 60s, overnight lows in the 40s. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Selma Swap, buy or sell cars, parts, and big boy toys. March 18th, Highway 99 at Mountain View, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. SelmaSwap.com.
Now, KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and E. Curtis Johnson.
206 News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon and welcome to the Tuesday installment of your Afternoon Drive. Phone numbers here are 490-5858. Toll free, join us at 800-776-5858. Find the show on social media at Drive KMJ and watch us streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch.tv, also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly stands by to screen your calls this afternoon as I join E. Curtis Johnson back at the KMJ studios.
Hello, Philip. Hello, KMJ listeners.
Got a new buzz question for you at KMJNow.com. It's brought to you by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. We're asking, with the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, are you worried about the American banking system? Let us know what you think. Answer the buzz question. KMJNow.com. Again, courtesy of the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. We talked a little bit about Silicon Valley Bank yesterday, and we do have more for you today. But I'll ask you, as somebody who does not have any accounts or investments at Silicon Valley Bank, are you worried about the rest of the American banking system?
No, I'm not. I mean, what's happened to Silicon Valley Bank is important to California.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of financial intersections that ran through that bank. But we'll talk about this in the show at some point too. But no, I'm not the least bit worried.
I think that any bank of especially medium size, this is a really good time to just go through and conduct an audit and make sure that your day-to-day management isn't overextending you in the way that Silicon Valley Bank overextended itself. There will be banks that have gotten a little bit out over their skis because with all of the deregulation of banking, that's just kind of an inevitable part of the system. Do I think that Wells Fargo is going to do this? Nope. Do I think that Bank of America is going to do this? Absolutely not. Do I think that it's possible that some regional bank where there's a little bit more appetite for risk could duplicate the same chain of events? It's not out of the question.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible in a free economy.
Yeah.
But this is the first bank to declare zero balance. I'm not using the proper financial terms. In 3 years.
Yeah.
The last 2 years is 0-0. This first one.
Yeah. All the more reason that I'm not in a panic about it. Frankly, this looks to me more like a little bit of a Darwinian market correction than evidence that the banking system as a system has become destabilized.
Yeah, I would fully agree. This is not an edict on the system. This is about one particular bank who was doing a lot of business in California about some specific things, got out a little bit over the skis, and people called in markers. That was the end of it.
So an interesting footnote to this story, because the footnotes are already appearing. You probably heard speculation on the Ray Appleton program. There was a caller who was asking about whether or not the speed with which the Federal Deposit Insurance Commission and the Treasury ran to the aid of the depositors, not investors, but depositors at Silicon Valley Bank, if perhaps that was an indication of Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi having a connection to the institution. And I don't think that is out of the question. When you get into that rarefied air of a certain kind of status symbol, absolutely where you bank can become one of those status symbols. And Silicon Valley Bank for the Bay Area was a status symbol to have in your wallet. I honestly don't know if Nancy Pelosi had a connection to Silicon Valley Bank. I simply wouldn't be surprised either way. Governor Newsom, on the other hand.
Yes.
Governor Newsom reportedly had substantial ties to Silicon Valley Bank, including personal accounts, 3 wineries, and first partner Jennifer's charity. We have a law in California that's going to come into play here. But to make it clear, the governor of the state of California lobbied the White House and the Department of the Treasury to help with the foreclosure, the bailout, the shutdown, the FDIC invocations, and subsequent saging of the lobbies of Silicon Valley Bank. Because, gosh, this is the tentpole of the California economy. Might have been the tentpole in Gavin Newsom's personal banking situation as well.
Yeah, as we get into this story, he should have recused himself on a couple of different things that have happened in the state regarding this bank, and he did not. I'm hoping as we get down the road on this that more of that is going to come out. Why? Because I think he's bad for California, quite frankly. Would I like to see him get a big black mark on his squeaky clean reputation over this? Absolutely, I would. No, it's not all his fault.
No.
It's the bank didn't fail because of Gavin Newsom, but he had some involvement in this that he should have disclosed, and he did not.
There is a law on the books in the state of California that says pretty plainly elected officials are not allowed to participate in the influencing of decisions in which they have a financial interest. He's the governor, and if he was not tied to Silicon Valley Bank, I would even make the argument that if he was inside of the conventional FDIC thresholds, therefore rendering him a non-participant in any post-threshold rescue activity. As the governor of the state of California, putting your hand up and saying, hey, this is going to be a big deal for the tech sector. We need to get out in front of this, would be absolutely the correct thing to do. 3 wineries, his wife's charity, personal banking accounts. Is there any chance that the child raised at the knee of the Gettys, a man who has enjoyed a level of privilege that would sound like the backstory for a 1980s teen summer comedy villain, has less than $250,000 tied up in this bank?
I think he's got more.
Yeah.
As time draws on, I think that's going to come out.
So we've got reporting here from The Intercept. Ken, is it Klippenstein or Klippenstein?
Frankenstein. You decide.
I heard somebody say once, Stein is fine, Steen is mean. So when in doubt, default to Stein.
Let's go with that.
So Ken Klippenstein of The Intercept reports that not only did Newsom have this relationship with Silicon Valley Bank by way of the wineries to which he is professionally attached, but one anonymous former employee who was a part of Newsom's financial planning team told Klippenstein that Newsom maintained personal accounts at Silicon Valley Bank for years, although it is not clear if those personal accounts are or were still active at the time of the bank's collapse last week. If they were, Newsom stands to benefit directly from the Biden administration rescue package, which will reimburse SVB account holders even if their balance surpasses the FDIC $250,000 limit. Saturday, Newsom's office puts out a statement saying that the governor had been in touch with the highest levels of leadership at the White House and the Treasury. The goal to stabilize the innovation ecosystem that has served as a tentpole for the economy. Again, if we were talking about a guy who didn't stand to benefit financially from the outsized response, he's absolutely right to step up and say, this is a big deal for our economy. We need to get out in front of this.
Yes, he did the right thing in that regard.
If the lieutenant governor had taken the reins and gone and delivered the exact same message, would there be a news story there? Or would there still be an eyebrow raised because Governor Hairgel is getting more money than the normies because he's got that kind of money to need to get back?
No, he still should have stepped forward. For example, some of the information that's coming out is that Governor Newsom's wife happens to be the co-founder of one of the nonprofits, the California Partners Project, and Silicon Valley Bank reportedly has donated $100,000 to that charity. $100,000. I mean, that's not buying somebody lunch.
No.
Not even on Governor Newsom's appetites. I mean, that's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, $100,000. I mean, my God, you could feed like 10 people at French Laundry for that kind of money.
Yeah. On discount night.
Interestingly, a former president of Silicon Valley Bank is listed as one of the California Partner Project's board of directors. Mm-hmm. So these people were in bed together professionally.
Yeah, it's going to be, as this comes out, and obviously we're making some supposition here, but as an elected official, Newsom is prohibited, you mentioned this earlier, by state law from influencing any government decision, and I'm quoting from it, in which the official knows or has reason to believe the official has financial interest. And that's going to be the sticking point. You know, did he or did he not have financial interest in what the state of California did business-wise with that bank?
Is the silliest part of this revelation that the law that we are discussing is the 2022 Political Reform Act?
Oh, the irony.
Just in case that's flying past you. That means Gavin Newsom's the governor who signed it into law. This guy's just scummy every possible way. More on this to come. I am sure Klipstein, forgive me, probably is going to be following up on this. If he's got somebody involved in the Siebel-Newsom-Getty financial power structure, I'm thinking there's more interesting revelations to come.
Yeah, it's going to come out. One way or another, it's going to come out.
That's E. Curtis Johnson. I'm Philip Teresi. This is your afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ, and online at kmjnow.com.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. 2 for $6. The best deal in fast food. When you want the best deal on the best meal, choose Wendy's 2 for $6. Pick from Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, 10-piece Crispy Nugs, or a medium strawberry lemonade. Pair any two for just $6. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $6.
Attention grape and tree fruit growers, packers and shippers. Looking for additional storage capacity in your warehouses? Need more space but do not want to build? Fresno Rack has helped tree nut facilities all over California with racking systems that not only increases storage by over 25%, whether you're looking to increase pallet load storage or super sacks, Fresno Rack has the answer. They can design a system using flow racking, pushback racking, drive-in racking, or selective racking to increase your warehouse storage capacities with in-house sales, design, and installation. You'll be shocked how fast Fresno Rack revamps your warehouse to give you more pallet spaces. Call Fresno Rack at 559-275-7225 or head to FresnoRack.com for a look under cold storage racking and take a look. Fresno Rack would also love for you to visit their showroom too. Fresno Rack has a no-obligation visit to discuss your storage needs and see if their systems would work for your nut warehouses.
Tom Sharp for Maximum Air Gun.
Firearm regulations dogging your favorite hobby? Skip the restrictions and dive into the world of air rifles. 22 caliber through 50 cal, only at Maximum Air Guns in Fresno. From high power slugs to specialized scopes, we have everything you need to eradicate pests, target shoot, or try your hand at precision competitions. Buy today, shoot today. Maximum Air Gun specializes in paintball, airsoft, and we have a huge selection of air rifles. Maximum Air Gun on Blackstone next to Me and Ed's Pizza. You will be amazed.
Lately, I have been hearing some weird things from my friends, even some of you. I'll ask, what are you doing this weekend? And the response is, hey, I'm going to Lose and Look. I get Lose and Look. And then, of course, it hits me, you're going to lose to look. Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium. And for those of you who can't get there right away, go to my Facebook page, because you'll see pictures of what you'll be looking at if you go to Lose and Look. On my Facebook right now, the great handmade Amish desk sets. These are so extravagant. Order them in any stain, any wood you want. Also on my Facebook page, those very hard to get outdoor bar stools. While you're there, take a look at that beautiful handmade Amish rocker. Anything Amish can be ordered in the type of wood that you want, the color of stain. It can be personally made for you. That includes all of those dining sets. Look at my Facebook page right now. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. The inventory changes all the time. It's a brand new location across from Lowe's, right next to Fashion Furniture. I'll see you in Lose and Look.
Being profitable these days means being more efficient, making the most of your equipment, making smarter decisions, reducing downtime, and making every tank of diesel last longer, which is exactly what John Deere 7R Series is designed to do, while helping you get more done in a day. Check out family-owned and operated Thomas & Tractor Company in Fireball, where for over 55 years, they strive to provide their customers with individual, personalized attention. Thomas & Tractor Company in Fireball, where superior service is standard equipment.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. Thank you for choosing the afternoon drive. My name is E. Curtis Johnson. Philip Teresi is there. Now, I will freely admit I, over the years, have wasted way too much time on Facebook. As an app, I like it.
Sure.
If for no other reason other than I've lived in a lot of places, I know a lot of people, and it has enabled me to stay in touch and reconnect with people that I would have lost total contact with. It has enabled me to stay in touch with family. I have family all over the West Coast, And being able to connect with them is nice. I enjoy that. I like seeing pictures of their kids and all of that kind of stuff. As a platform, I like Facebook. Again, admittedly, spend too much time there. I don't particularly appreciate the politics of Facebook. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, I wouldn't mind if a company said, we are a liberal company. We have liberal ideas, and this is our agenda, and this is what we do. Okay, fine. You've disclosed that. This is the United States of America. God bless you in that road you've chosen to go down. Don't mind that at all. What I really object to about Facebook is they claim to be objective. They claim to be non-biased, which is not true in the least. For example, back in 2014, I had a political rant that I had syndicated on several radio stations across the West Coast.
Yeah.
My feeds of that rant went nowhere because it was all conservative talk. And I have no doubt whatsoever that my feed was blocked because of the content. So in what I'm about to say next, and Philip, I think I speak for you also, I as a businessman, and I am a businessman, I don't take pleasure in the demise of any business. And Facebook is having some issues. For example, back in November, they cut 11,000 jobs. At the time, that was like 13% of their workforce.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to cut another 10,000 jobs. And apparently there's 5,000 jobs that have been open that they're not going to fill. So you do those numbers. What is that? That's about 26% of their workforce in the last 4 months, 3 months, depending on how you want to count it. Now, those are human beings. Those are people. Those are people who are going to have to go home and tell their significant other. I almost said tell their insignificant other. Well, maybe that too, if the relationship is on the rocks. But these are people that are going to have to go home and go, babe, I lost my job today.
Yeah.
What do I have to say? I take no delight in that at all. As someone who was laid off from a company that I really loved back in January, I don't take delight in anyone losing a job.
I don't take delight in any of these. I mean, we really are now rolling up on 26,000 human beings being affected by these decisions. I agree with you there. In terms of Facebook as a business entity, I think that Facebook still embodies the go fast and break things attitude that was the epitome of early aughts Silicon Valley tech bravado. If you look at the evolution of technology as industry, or really information technology as industry, we had this leaping off point after the Second World War, where as the production of semiconductors and miniaturization really accelerated, we had hard industry. We had people who went to factories and made this stuff. And we had companies like Hewlett-Packard that, upon discovering a need for a piece of technology, would establish a division to build technology specifically to the needs of a client. And so if you were a police department, a municipality, and you wanted point-to-point microwave repeaters so that all of the cops in a great big spread out geographic area could all key up and communicate with each other in real time, Hewlett-Packard would design that and build that for you. If you needed STLs like radio stations use, the reason that our studios are in the middle of town and our transmitters are up in the boonies.
That stands for Studio Transmitter Link.
Hewlett-Packard would design it and build it for you. And if you needed a better calculator, if you needed a better oscilloscope, if you needed a better multimeter, if you needed a better printer, this company would figure out that a need exists and they would tailor their production to that need. Because if you're building something tailored to a need, you will have a customer. And odds are, if you do it properly and you build the best widget on the market, you will corner that market. People will come to you for your superior product. And that's why Hewlett-Packard went from being a couple of guys working in one of their garages to being this massive multinational company that Carly Fiorina ran into the wreck-around.
But there's no bitterness on Philip's part.
That was the original iteration of that communications and information technology development arc. And what happened was in the late 90s and the early aughts, you got this ethos of go fast and break things. And these companies would come into town and they would set up shop and they would hire. And they would build these beautiful, elaborate, remember all the nonsense about the Silicon Valley tech bro offices, and they had nap pods and espresso bars and unlimited vacation, and you could get a treadmill.
And a masseuse would come in if you were too tensed out.
And they had a bar so everybody could get together after work because you want to hang out and brainstorm after spending 8 hours being productive. And they were building these insane, decadent things. That same ethos is what has led to this, because they've grown to this point that's not sustainable. They're employing people that produce nothing. If Facebook has 26,000 spare bodies, because you take the 11,000 cut in November, you take the 10,000 that are going to get fired in the very near future, and the 5,000 open positions they're not going to fill, 26,000 bodies. How in the world is it that I can't get somebody on the phone if I get locked out of my account? And why is it if there's 26,000 capable people working for that single platform that we can't keep child pornography off of Instagram? The company went out and hired people because it was a status symbol. It was a sign of dominance to have this massive workforce and all of these amenities. Mark Zuckerberg's finally learning that if you're going to employ somebody, they have to produce something.
Yes. Okay. So for most of my life, I have been a boss.
Yeah.
This is the first time since 1987. I'm not in charge of anything other than, actually, I'm not in charge of anything, quite frankly. I don't even have to watch myself, but I digress. But what Zuckerberg is doing is just the ebb and flow of the business. It doesn't, and I'm going to challenge you a little bit on that. This kind of stuff has never been done before. He's still figuring it out. It's not like he invented another car and you could go back and go, well, how did GM do things, or how did Ford do things, how did Chrysler do things? I mean, he invented a lot of this himself.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's 26,000 people who have now lost their job doesn't make him a bad businessman. It just means he's in new territory now, and he's simply responding to what the market will bear or will not bear.
When we get back from news, I'm going to push back on that because my feeling is the only time you see a workforce reduction of this scale is when you either have somebody who is slashing the cost of labor to try and make their bottom line look healthier for the sake of some kind of chicanery with the shareholders, or you've got somebody who hired a whole bunch of people who weren't actually doing anything.
Good point, and those are all part of the factors in the formula, and I'd love to discuss that with you.
Right now it is time for an update of headlines with Liz Kern in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
Lake Cahuilla is releasing water as the dam fills up. In a release today, the Army Corps of Engineers says it's monitoring Cahuilla Lake and Terminus Dam around the clock. They assure residents the dam is not close to overflowing, but it may cause flooding downstream from Terminus Dam. Following the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank here in California last Friday, the government is hoping that someone will buy the bank while Congress looks into its business dealings leading up to the collapse. Fox Business Network's Kelly O'Grady reports.
The FDIC is looking to avoid a bailout and instead look for a buyer. So we are learning that the FDIC is seeking to hold another auction to sell SVB after attempts, of course, failed this weekend. My sources tell me a number of private equity firms are considering the acquisition, but they're just not sold hold on buying the bank in its entirety yet. Fox News confirming the DOJ is investigating the collapse, though I will note this is routine in a situation like this. But as the Fed reviews SVB's management and risk profile as well, Senator Warren getting in on the action, urging Chairman Powell to recuse himself, alleging his policies allow these banks to boost profits by loading up on risk.
Former shareholders of the bank filed a lawsuit against the former CEO, CFO, and the bank itself, claiming it hid from investors how federal interest rate hikes would impact the institution's business model. The men's NCAA tournament officially gets underway tonight. Fox's Eric Messersmith previews.
68 teams will compete for the national title, starting with a pair of games tonight in Dayton, Ohio. Southeast Missouri State will face Texas A&M Corpus Christi for the right to be the 16th seed in the South region and face top seed Alabama. The other matchup this evening, Pittsburgh and Mississippi State, with the winner onto the first round as the 11th seed in the Midwest region. There are two more games in the so-called First Four tomorrow night, and then on Thursday and Friday, it's the first round of the tournament, two of the best days of the year on the sports calendar, with games starting just after noon Eastern time and running all the way until midnight on both days. I'm Eric Messersmith, Fox News.
And a new DC series is beginning. Fox's Michelle Polino has details.
They think I killed my dad because I wanted his money?
Gotham Knights is a new series on the CW based on DC Comics. It centers around members of the Batman family and other characters in the DC universe. In the wake of Bruce Wayne's murder, his adopted son, Turner Hayes, a new character created for the show, takes center stage.
I'm Robin. We have to go.
Turner then forges an alliance with the children of Batman's enemies. As the city becomes more dangerous, these mismatched fugitives will become the next generation of saviors, known as the Gotham Knights. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
On Wall Street, the Dow ended gaining 336 points. It is 2:34 right now. Valley weather, cloudy, 61 at Radio City. Fox 26's Justin Willis has more of our Tuesday forecast.
Another rainy afternoon with highs in the low to mid 60s, overnight lows in the 40s. Today's atmospheric river is further impacting already swollen rivers and streams, keeping us under a flood watch through tomorrow morning. About a half to a full inch of rain expected on the valley floor with today's storm, and about 2 to 4 inches in the mountains below 7,000 feet. Above that, a winter storm warning with 2 to 8 feet of snow and 65-mile-an-hour winds. Finally, a high wind advisory for the west side and coastal range until late tonight, with wind speeds up to 70 miles an hour. For KMJ, from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Find everything you love listening to on Audible. Hear celebrity memoirs, mysteries, true crime, sci-fi, and more. Audible is the home of storytelling, audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
The Ag Center offers farmers throughout California assistance and support to help take on the daily challenges of farm management. Learn more on how the Ag Center can help you at www.theagcenter.com.
Chris Daniel for Breadcrumb Cybersecurity. Ransomware, wire fraud, breaches. You're talking about it for your business already. How could you not be? These are nation-based bad actors, criminal cartels, the same ones who target government and Fortune 500 companies are targeting you. It's time for the next step in protecting your company. It's time to call Breadcrumb. Trusted by law enforcement and nationally recognized, the team at Breadcrumb delivers results, period. Go now to breadcrumbcyber.com because evidence is everywhere.
Well, that's it. Put a fork in us, we're done. Arrivederci, sayonara, we'll catch you on the flip side. Robinson's Home Furnishings at River Park is going out of business. After almost 23 years serving this wonderful community, our owner is retiring. And no, he's not relaxing. He'll be spending more time as a newly elected Kings County supervisor. As you know, with going out of business sales, the savings are monumental and everything must go. Come one, come all, for the absolute best lines in the furniture industry before they're gone. From Hooker Furniture to Braddington Young to Century to Stickley, they're all here for your selection. And yes, special orders are available. We will be delivering each and every one as they arrive over the next several months. Robinson's Home Furnishings at River Park, 110 East Alluvial, Fresno. The final sale with savings of up to 50% off MSRP. Hurry before we're gone. We love you, Fresno, Madera, Kings, and Tulare counties. Thank you for the decades of support. We will miss you.
Discount taken from the manufacturer's suggested retail price.
As a leprechaun, I've always been blessed with the luck of the Irish.
Until me luck ran out and me air conditioning broke. How am I supposed to focus on counting me gold coins now? So I called Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. They've been servicing the valley for over 40 years.
Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating? Oh, wow. Sir, just calm down.
Sorry, you got to fix me AC. Leprechauns are not built for this kind of weather.
We'll send a licensed, friendly professional out right away.
Lee's got me back up and running. Now I can count me gold coins in peace.
Get $1,000 towards a new warranty-backed HVAC unit when you trade in your old one. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating offers 0 interest and no payment for 18 months. No monthly payments, same as cash. Call Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating today for a free estimate at 559-785-1212. That's 559-785-1212. CLN 635355.
This report is sponsored by Roto-Rooter. Roto-Rooter should be your first call for any plumbing or water cleanup needs. Put their 85 years of experience to work for you. Roto-Rooter is available 24/7. Call your local Roto-Rooter for a free estimate at 1-800-GET-ROTO or online at rotorooterca.com.
KMJ's afternoon drive continues right now. Here's Philip and E.
That would be us. And thank you so much for listening this afternoon. You know, on a side note here, over the weekend, I saved so much time. It was unbelievable. By setting my clock ahead 1 hour, I saved a mountain of time. In fact, all the time I saved, I could not even fit into my house. So I had to, take it out and put it on the curb, and it unfortunately washed away. So all the time I saved on, at 2 a.m. on Saturday, just like a lot of things, unfortunately, just washed down the street.
I'm one of the people who thinks that the adjusting of the clocks thing is silly. Like, I understand kind of why we did it 100 years ago. We don't need it now.
No.
And I think in terms of if you really want to get everybody waving their baton the same way, you really want to get everybody past the arbitrary symbol that we borrowed from the southeast of Asia in the 12th century that now represents some agreed upon coordinate in time. Put everybody in Greenwich Mean Time. Do away with time zones. Good afternoon. Welcome to KMJ's Afternoon Drive. It is 9:40 p.m.
You've lost your mind.
No. The airlines all use it. Works great.
Yeah, but that's a specific industry. You can't change people's body clocks like that or get them to think that what going to work at 8 a.m. now you're going to go to work at 1 p.m.
Well, no, because we're still coming to work now. We're just not calling it 2 o'clock anymore. It's now 9 o'clock because we're using Greenwich Mean Time, but we're still coming when the sun is approximately where it is in the horizon.
People would never adapt to that.
Sure they would.
No, they would not.
What? You are simply changing the symbol for an agreed upon marker.
Oh, on paper, that sounds perfectly logical. But it would screw with people's minds.
Well, yeah, for like a year, everybody would be like, I don't know what time it is. And then take out their phone and look at it like they already do now. None of us knows what time it is. And what do? You take out your phone, you look at your phone. Half of us have got watches that cost as much as a Rolex did in the 60s. We're all walking around with these stupid digital timepieces that update themselves to your time and your location. What do? We take our phone out, we glance at the screen, we put it back in our pocket. 40 seconds later, we've forgotten what time it is. Unless you have a doctor's appointment or a meeting that you think your employment hinges upon. You don't care what time it is. It doesn't mean anything.
It means everything. What you're suggesting is possibly the most Orwellian thing I have ever heard.
No, we have a designation there. And so you know that if you live in Fresno, California, that at 9 p.m. the afternoon drive comes on. Kids get out of school right around 9:45, 10:15 p.m. Banks close right around 1700 hours.
But you couldn't change people's mindsets like that.
But you take out your phone and look at it. Oh, look at that. It's 9:43.
Completely missing the point.
The bank closes at the bank closes at 1 a.m. So we don't have to hurry yet.
Because you have just by edict you have now changed
the number on the thing.
Yeah, no, it would be insane. For example, what do most people do in the noon hour?
Well, most people eat lunch around noon.
Yes, most people eat lunch in the noon hour.
Do they eat lunch because the clock says 12 or because it's the middle of the functional daylight workday?
They do it because we've been conditioned to do it.
Yeah, at the when the sun's at its highest point in the sky, we've been conditioned to stop and eat. It doesn't matter if you call that 12 p.m., 1200 hours, or purple o'clock. If the sun's up in the middle of the sky, it's time to have lunch. So call it whatever you want to call it. If by GMT that makes it, hang on, I got a back time here, 7 p.m., that doesn't make it less lunchtime.
No, it does, because we've been conditioned for generation upon generation to do certain things at certain times of the day.
Yeah, and at 7 p.m., the sun in Fresno is at its highest point in the sky, and it's time to eat lunch.
Yeah, people would never adapt to that.
Because they're not going to take their phone out and look at it.
Well, no, it's not that they wouldn't take their phone out, because obviously their phone would be adjusted to it.
Yeah.
But you can't change generations of habit and tradition.
You're not changing generations of habit and tradition. You're changing the number on the thing that tells you where you are in the progression of the earth around the sun for this day.
Oh, you stubborn man.
I'm not wrong.
You are changing the entire mindset of a nation.
Yes.
In attempting to do that. For what purpose?
Because then we are able to simply go and reference, okay, I know that the bank's open until 1 a.m. Because that's when approximately the sun has gone down and most people are headed home for their evening meal in Fresno, California. I also know that at 1 a.m., all the folks on the East Coast are tucking in for the night. You simply you simply have to extend yourself beyond thinking of time as a local phenomenon.
But we have thought of local time as a phenomenon for our entire period of creation.
Have we?
Yes.
What conception of time did people have before clocks?
By where the sun was.
Exactly. So it doesn't matter if you call it noon, if you call it midnight, if you call it purple o'clock, or if you call it 7 p.m. If the sun's right there, it's time for lunch.
Well, it does matter now, because at least for our lifetime, forget who came before us, but at least for our lifetime, we do certain things because the clock says it does.
Yeah.
We equate certain activities with what the clock says.
Sure.
To just arbitrarily change that, again, for a purpose that you have not explained with any sense at all.
Because then we never have to adjust the clocks again. You simply check your local reference points for what the hours are for the bank, for the restaurant, for whatever. We live in the age of technology. You take out your phone, double tap the home key. Hey, smart thing on my phone. What time does the elbow room open?
Okay, so can we agree on one thing? Can we agree on setting the clock forward at one part of the year and setting it back at one part of the year is nonsense, and we should stop doing that? Can we agree with that?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm proposing. We stop doing it both in the context of this completely constructed back and forth that you're saying people can't adapt to, but for the most part, folks are done complaining about it after a work week.
No, I am not saying that people. No, I am not saying that. What I'm saying is, if it's wrong to change the clocks twice a year, it's equally as wrong to say, okay, from here till infinity and beyond, thank you, Buzz Lightyear, we're now going to not eat lunch at noon anymore. We're going to do it at 9 p.m. because it coincides with what Greenwich Mean Time says. Yeah. Who cares about Greenwich Mean Time? I bet most people don't even know where that is.
No, probably not, but it's about 8 hours away.
What's so special about Greenwich Mean Time?
I'm just saying, let's pick a point. Let's pick a coordinate and work with it.
Yeah, how about
because then we never have to change our clocks when we get off an airplane again.
How about the coordinate is we just leave the coordinate where it is?
That's what I'm proposing.
No, you're not. You're saying that we change it to match with something that's going on in a country whose tea we threw in the harbor and said, we don't like your queen anymore.
No, I'm fine if you want to make the universal time code based on San Francisco, New York. I don't care. Just pick a point, and this is what time it is now.
KMJ listeners, I have known Philip Teresi since 1997. I knew he was insane. I just didn't realize he was crazy.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earn doubled. The cash back from trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously, though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month, with no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses, with the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Offer ends 3/21/23. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
Chris, there's a lot of excitement about Solar Negotiators' new Power Shift program. What is it and why is it so unique?
Well, Helen, we've partnered with the best smart battery manufacturers in the world to provide backup power and grid independence to future solar customers. Our Power Shift program takes the control over the power bill away from the utility company and returns it to our customer. And Solar Negotiators uses the power of our exclusive No True Up software to ensure our customers get the right combination of solar and battery storage options.
Isn't the key to achieving energy savings under NEM 3.0 getting the perfect balance? Sounds like it's more important than ever to choose someone you trust.
Yes, and our Power Shift program is unlike anything offered by other solar companies. It gives customers the freedom to decide how much of their home they want to protect, whether they want to prioritize savings, and how independently they want to live from the grid.
You heard it, folks. Sounds like your energy savings are just a power shift away. Call or click today for your free quote. Solar Negotiators, your lifetime energy partner.
Tired of seeing your neighbor's Christmas lights at Easter? Tired of your neighbor's loud, obnoxious parties and stealing your parking spot? If you live in an HOA and you're not getting the services and support you need, let us help. We would love to be your property management company. Our HOA team here at Regency specializes in customer service, HOA management, CC&R rules enforcement, and community improvements. We help communities be neighbors and assist our boards in making the best decisions for your association. Let us help you increase your reserves, collect delinquent accounts, improve communication, coordinate fun neighborhood events, accomplish community projects, and more, all for a competitive rate. For homeowner association management, it's Regency Property Management at 559-221-3170 or online at regencyfresno.com. Let's improve your community together. Regency Property Management, 559-221-3170. Regency, helping communities be neighbors.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today.
We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp Data Bank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too. The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited-time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
An atmospheric river slams California. Get the latest local weather report right here on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ and always streaming at kmjnow.com.
Thank you for choosing the afternoon drive. My name is E. Curtis Johnson. I didn't realize my partner, Philip Teresi, was so out of his mind. Brad, we see your call there. Actually, Brad agrees with Philip that changing the when we have lunch to match Greenwich time would work. Chester, flip that. Brad thinks Philip has lost his mind. Chester agrees. We're going to get to you guys first. Brad, I'm with you. I think Philip has lost his mind. Why don't you think Philip's idea would work?
Philip, first of all, I love you. Just so you know. E. Curtis, you're 100% right. Philip's lost his mind. I remember back, I think it was when I was in junior high, they tried to change the system of math and measurements from what it is now to centimeters and meters. And people went nuts. They couldn't do it. They couldn't figure it out. I think it lasted maybe a week. And then they said, nope, never mind. We're keeping it in feet and inches. So with that in mind, I don't think they can figure out Greenwich time.
Well, Brad, I respect your position, and I have always been of the opinion in the imperial versus metric debate that it wasn't the metric system that got us to the moon. In terms of what time it is, nobody knows what time it is. If I walk up to you at any point in your workday, after about the first 20 minutes that you get there, or within 30 minutes of either lunch or departure, you don't know what time it is. You got to take your phone out and look. It's not because you're dumb. It's not because you're not productive. It's not because you aren't a contributing member of the team and a good boss and a good coworker. It's because it doesn't matter, because it's just a symbol to which we set the metronomes by which we live our life, which is actually really unhealthy because it has nothing to do with our circadian rhythm or our relationship to the sun.
I'll give you that.
And so what we call
However,
this moment is less relevant than how we conduct ourselves in the context of the moment.
Yeah, and that sounds
I agree.
That sounds great on paper. And Brad, back me up on this one. But just again, I go back to my argument. If setting the clock forward and backward twice a year is wrong, setting the clock 9 hours ahead or 12 hours ahead, whatever it would be, to match what's going on in Greenwich, England, would screw with our minds so bad. We wouldn't know what was up and what was down.
2 weeks, nobody would know the difference.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No, not true.
Nobody would know the difference.
No, I agree with Brad's argument. We couldn't handle a week of the metric system. We wouldn't handle that.
Respectfully, I think that if you simply told people, hey, this is how we're telling the time now, people would stamp their feet and complain about it for a week. And then you would get used to, oh, yeah, the banks are open until 10 o'clock at night.
I think there would be riots in the streets, and I would be leading one of those.
You know why there wouldn't be? Because unlike going to a metric conversion, it doesn't require people to do math in their head. You just take out your phone and you know what time it is.
No. Chester, you agree with Philip. Why, Chester, why are you in bed with this madman?
Well, first of all, I'm not in bed with him. I will say this. Have you ever been on a Zoom call across time zones?
Yes.
it is a pain to get everybody on the call at the same time. And as to the example of the metric thing of the metrics, they tried to implement metric and standard using the exact same signs that really didn't differentiate between whether you were talking about metric or standard, which is part of what caused the problem. It all depends upon the implementation as to whether people will accept it or not.
Yeah, and if we just tell everybody's phone that it is coming up on 10 o'clock on the afternoon drive on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ, they will simply accept that that is now the symbol for, oh gosh, I better go pick up the kids.
Pay no attention to what this man is saying about time. I make a cheesy joke about daylight savings time, and he takes us off into the universe somewhere. Who am I working with?
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Hey everybody, it's Philip Teresi introducing you to the local guys at CopyRabbit.com. What's CopyRabbit? That is an excellent question. We all have projects we've been putting off. CopyRabbit is here to help you with all the projects you've been putting off. Just go to CopyRabbit.com, post your project, add some photos of what you have in mind, maybe even a video and a description of the project, and you're done. It's that easy, and the best part is it's free. CopyRabbit will send your project details to professionals in the area who will look at the scope of work along with the photos that were posted and send you a quote. And CopyRabbit isn't just one kind of service. It's literally whatever you need done. Whatever you need. CopyRabbit is a one-stop shop to get your time back. KOPIRabbit.com. Whether you're a housekeeper, a mechanic, a landscaper, there are customers with job postings at CopyRabbit.com who want to meet you. KOPIRabbit.com, where people go to get things done. That's CopyRabbit.com.
Nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Bigger's so much better, he will beat every price. Nothing changes there. What? Right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's, it can only be Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium, baby.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller here in the KMJ News Center. 10 people now displaced from an apartment after falling trees in Fresno. Latest storm hitting California today, causing more flooding and damage up and down the valley. KMJ's Liz Kern reports.
Flooding caused Caltrans to close a section of Highway 59 south of Merced.
It's a wet one. Highway is closed south of Merced. We got water coming over the road. We got a river rising up over there.
Meanwhile, 2 large trees fell in an apartment complex this morning in Fresno. One tree falling across Sierra Madre Avenue near Shaw and First. It landed on some parked vehicles. Another tree landed on a 2-story apartment building. Sierra Madre Avenue was closed for a while so that crews can remove the trees. No injuries were reported. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
The Central Valley's in for another soaking today and bracing for more storms later this week. Visalia declaring a state of emergency with a response plan now in place through Monday. Madera County issued new evacuation warnings while Merced County opened 2 more flood shelters. And at Tulare County, crews are meeting every 4 hours as they monitor the Tule River where water reached the spillway over the weekend. Ohio suing Norfolk Southern Railway following last month's toxic train disaster in East Palestine. Fox's Jeff Minoso has the story.
Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost announcing a 53-count federal lawsuit against Norfolk Southern Railway to hold the company responsible following last month's toxic train disaster in East Palestine.
We're still finding out what the facts were, exactly what happened, who was responsible. Each day, it seems that the picture gets a little bit more complicated.
Yost noting Norfolk Southern's escalating accident rate over the last 10 years and saying, like residents in East Palestine, that he too, during a visit there, experienced discomfort from the over 1 million gallons of toxic chemicals that he says were spilled that endangered both health and natural resources. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The city of Reedley is on the verge of running out of sandbags. More than 6,000 have been filled just from the site since Thursday. Supplies now low throughout Fresno County. That's due to hoarding ahead of today's storm. Rain's going to be more intense, causing the Kings River to rise higher. People living nearby and in other areas that tend to flood have been told to stay vigilant and be prepared to evacuate the area if necessary. Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Stormy weather continues through tonight, further impacting already swollen rivers and streams, keeping us under a flood watch through tomorrow morning. About a half to a full inch of rain expected on the valley floor with today's storm, and 2 to 4 inches of rain in the mountains below 7,000 feet. Above that, a winter storm warning with 2 to 8 feet of snow and 65-mile-an-hour winds. Finally, a high wind advisory for the west side and coastal range until late tonight, with speeds up to 70 miles an hour. Highs today are in the low 60s, overnight lows in the 40s. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. It's 3 o'clock in
And taking a look at Tuesday afternoon traffic, Highway 180 is closed from 10 miles east of the 63 junction to the 245 junction due to flooding. Highway 99 northbound traffic from Avenue 24 to Avenue 56 is reduced to one lane, again due to traffic. Highway 190 out of Porterville is closed 1 mile east of Springville to Camp Nelson. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Selma Swap, buy or sell cars, parts, and big boy toys. March 18th, Highway 99 at Mountain View, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. SelmaSwap.com.
This is KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and E. Curtis Johnson.
You can't handle the truth.
And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm E. That is Philip. The President of the United States has been in our fine state for a couple of days. This morning, he signed an executive order. Hello. Yes, I speak for a living, folks. He signed an executive order, which is going to require more background checks on anyone buying a gun, particularly, and again, calling for what he likes to do, talking about banning assault weapons, which actually don't exist. There's no such thing as an assault weapon, but I digress.
So, one, I disagree. All weapons are assault weapons. A weapon is designed to commit an assault. Guns are a tool meant for killing.
But all killings aren't assaults.
That's true.
You're presuming that it's only for offense when you say all weapons are assault weapons.
Well, no, I just think that there's this semantic trap that has been laid. What the administration means by assault weapon is scary black rifle.
Yes, that is what they mean.
And Orwell makes a really good point about this in one of his essays about political writing and how the use of these Latin polysyllables are really designed to obscure meaning. Because if you say, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ban scary black rifles, the immediate reaction is, well, what about brown rifles? Well, what about not scary rifles? Well, what about deer rifles? What about clay shooting long guns? What about all of the things that aren't scary black rifles? How are they fundamentally different in their actual function? And the argument does not hold. So instead, they've constructed this term, and he loves bringing out assault rifles, assault rifles, assault rifles.
Yeah, because it's a buzzword. It gets people worked up.
What's remarkable to me is this executive order effectively acknowledges that the president does not, under the Constitution, have the authority to put forward any executive order increasing gun control. What he's done, brace yourselves, everybody, because if Joe Biden's doing it, it means eventually Gavin Newsom might do it, because Gavin Newsom wants Joe Biden's job. And if he does it, I think that we can probably listen carefully, and you'll be able to hear the sound in the distance of every thinking person's skull simultaneously exploding when Gavin Newsom orders law enforcement to enforce the laws, because that's what Joe Biden did today. We have all these laws on the books, enforce them. He held a press conference. He got hours of coverage from the mainstream media. And it boils down to enforce the laws and provide more support for communities after people don't follow the law.
Well, and he said it in a state that requires weeks to purchase a weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, California already has measures in place, and I'm not going to mention the name, but I know someone who recently purchased a weapon. It took 3 months.
That's a long time. They must have had some question that required answering at some point in the process.
Yeah, it could have been delayed for other reasons. I know of other people who it's taken 6 weeks, a month to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know what the standard time is, but to say that if we're talking about a cooling off period, if we're talking about time to investigate should this person have this gun or not, California already has these laws in place.
Yeah. And interestingly, if I understand our laws correctly, if I want to go buy a handgun, it's a 30-day waiting period. Now, never mind that I already own handguns, so I've only got so many hands, but I still have to wait 30 days if I want a new handgun. If I buy a long gun, it's 10 days. But isn't the scary black rifle the thing that everybody's up in arms about right now?
Yeah, supposedly a long gun, technically a rifle.
Yeah.
Pardon me for being anal retentive on it. But it makes me nuts that the average American does not know the difference between a gun and a rifle. The president certainly does not.
No. Well, and even, I mean, look, I own a handful of firearms. I like to target shoot, and I've got the home defense consideration. I am not a gun guy. I don't know all of the nomenclature. I have no desire to learn all of it. I know which end goes bang, and I understand why you keep them clean and secure when you're not using them. Setting the language aside, why is he getting so much press on enforce the law?
Because people want to, I have to be careful how I say this, because he's pandering to his base.
Yeah.
He's pandering to his base. He's come to the most liberal state in the nation, and he's fanning the flames of fear. He's trying to say, look how I'm protecting you. We're going to do all these things to protect you from assault weapons.
Well, and forgive me if I'm sounding sarcastic or naive or like I'm begging the question.
Actually, I like it when you're sarcastic, but please continue.
The laws only apply to the people who follow them.
You are correct, sir.
And so for you and me, it may present an additional headache the next time you or I, as law-abiding non-felons, decide that we want to go get something new. Now, I don't know if you're a gun guy in beyond simply being a Second Amendment supporter. Obviously, you've handled firearms in your life.
Since I was 7.
But whether or not you're a gun guy, whether your attitude about it is like mine, that it's a tool with a challenging purpose, and I'll continue to buy my steaks at Save Mart, thanks, or you're every weekend you're out at the range putting 1,000 rounds out down the barrel. You're a law-abiding citizen who already owns a firearm in this hypothesis. What does this do to keep you and me safe from the guy that wasn't following the law?
It does nothing. By the way, I shoot quite frequently, but it doesn't do anything to protect us. It's just pandering to the base. It's just more of an attack upon our constitutional rights that will not make anyone any safer. I mean, I will go so far as to say, if a 30-day wait keeps someone who maybe has a mental issue or a psychological problem, who shouldn't have a firearm of any kind, if a 30-day wait saves somebody from an individual like that, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that people should be able to walk up and just buy it on demand. But to add to that, it's just more hyperbole to say I'm going to make you safer. We're going to make those checks even more stringent. It's nonsense.
Now, this doesn't really have anything to do with what the president did, which, by the way, I think is a massive missed opportunity, since he was getting the column inches today that he could have included at least a little bit about it. I am a fan of red flag laws. I think that there need to be specific protections in place for the inevitable circumstance where some vindictive ex-girlfriend decides that she's going to cause a problem. Even in Florida, where there are red flag laws, it's been invoked, I think they said in 2020 or 2021, the red flag law was invoked 5,000 times. There was never a circumstance under which a person had their firearms removed that it was found to have been an inappropriate decision in the moment the decision was made. In other words, the vindictive ex-girlfriends didn't come crawling out of the woodwork, but domestic abusers and hotheads and people having challenging moments were confronted and were disarmed. Do you think that a well-crafted red flag law is superior to continuing to give you and me hoops to jump through?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to maybe taking a look at some of the laws that are on the books and refining them.
Yeah.
Making them more about reality and less about fear and paranoia over inanimate objects.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to a discussion on the subject and a healthy debate in society about it. But when the plan is simply clear that we're going to vilify certain things simply because of the way they look, that's an argument not based in reality. And you can't have laws that aren't based in reality.
And this is why I think it's so appropriate that he came to California to announce this. This is, I really believe that this is the true hallmark of the West Coast liberal. Identify a thing that causes people anxiety. Promise to be the force between the scared people and the thing that they are scared of. But I can only do it if I get reelected, and I can only do it if you donate and you vote for me. So let's get those scary black rifles out of here. Let's get those mean old Republicans and their immigration laws out of here. Let's get those graduation requirements out of here. We're here to protect you. We're the Democrats. And then they don't ever deliver because what he's done doesn't accomplish anything except to make it possible for Joe Biden and Gavin Newsom and the dweebs in Sacramento and Washington, D.C. to send out another round of fundraising emails.
Well, in shooting terms, bullseye.
490-5858 is the number. 800-776-5858. Curious if you guys picked up on anything that we did not. Was there anything in this that represents a serious infringement, that represents a legitimate change in policy that we will eventually see challenged and overturned in court? Or was this an old man shaking his fist at the cloud? 490-5858, 800-776-5858. The Afternoon Drive at News Talk, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, and online, always at kmjnow.com.
And checking on traffic in Tulare County, Road 112 to Avenue 160 to Avenue 184. The road has been closed. In Fresno, the 4300 block of North Thorne, there's been a collision with no injuries. And south of Fresno at South Temperance, South Golden State Boulevard, there's been a collision with injuries unknown. A reminder that 180 is closed from 10 miles east of 63 to the 245 junction. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by the California DMV. Did you know that many DMV tasks, like renewing your registration or starting your Real ID application, can be done online any time of day? Check them off your to-do list without a trip to the DMV. Get started today at dmv.ca.gov/online.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month, with no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses, with the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Offer ends 3/21/23. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
Listen to what Dave Ryan says about Andro 400.
Andro 400, I really love it. It's amazing to me that I feel so good. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy. Energy to walk. Energy to play sports. Everything is starting to work again. It feels like I'm 25. My wife is happy. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man. I'm taking this stuff to the grave with me.
Men, have you lost energy and gained belly fat? Are you feeling stressed out? Fight back with Andro 400, the safe, natural, and inexpensive way to increase your testosterone. For over a decade, Andro 400 has helped men lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel 20 years younger. Go to andro400.com. andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and soon you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Attention tree nut growers, packers, and shippers. Looking for additional storage capacity in your warehouses? Need more space but do not want to build? Fresno Rack has helped tree nut facilities all over California with racking systems that not only increases storage by over 25%. Whether you're looking to increase pallet load storage or super sacks, Fresno Rack has the answer. They can design a system using flow tracking, pushback racking, drive-in racking, or selective racking to increase your warehouse storage capacities with in-house sales, design, and installation. You'll be shocked how fast Fresno Rack revamps your warehouse to give you more pallet spaces. Call Fresno Rack at 559-275-7225 or head to FresnoRack.com for a look under cold storage racking. And take a look. Fresno Rack would also love for you to visit their showroom too. Fresno Rack offers a no-obligation visit to discuss your storage needs and see if their systems will work for your nut warehouses.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Thank you for choosing the afternoon drive. My name is E. Curtis Johnson here with Philip Teresi. If you just joined us, we're talking about President Biden's he's in California still. This morning he signed an executive order which essentially says, I'm going to increase background checks to buy guns. We're going to have more safety. And those scary black assault rifles, we can't have those because they're scary. All right, I'm being sarcastic. But it's annoying.
It's annoying and it's unhelpful. If I believed that there was a good faith effort to truly reduce gun violence, setting aside the questionable compatibility with the Bill of Rights for just the sake of argument, if I truly believed that it was a good faith effort to try and improve things, just to protect kids, I wouldn't be irritated by the grandstanding. But there's this grandstanding and this press of veil and this fawning coverage. They have showed Joe Biden's face today on CNN more than they've shown Wolf Blitzers. And what he's actually done is this extremely minor course correction in how the administration interacts with existing policy. We already have background checks. Providing the resources to see that they get done properly, why wouldn't we have done that in the first place? Other than the fact that it's all security theater to make people feel better, because the reality is you're not going to change anything in a country where there's already as many guns as people floating around.
Well, and to add to that, the absurdity of saying that in California, as if we don't already have those precautions in place.
490-5858 is the number. David checking in. David, welcome to KMJ. Good afternoon.
How you doing? Oh, thanks for the show, guys.
Thank you for listening.
One of the comments earlier you guys made had some about 30 days waiting and this and that to get a gun. That might have just been like a back order thing or something. I consistently buy guns. It's 11-day waiting period. It tends to maybe add a couple of days to it or so. But the 1 month thing is when you go to purchase your second handgun, you have to wait a month before you can do so. But I've been buying guns since I was able to, and it really hasn't changed that much. It's stricter, it's this and that, but I still go in the waiting period, do my background check, and I get my rifle or my handgun that I want.
David,
I think it's a lot.
David, let me ask you, in the evolution of the background check system, and I know that the requirements have increased since the last time I participated. Do you see anything as a person who is fully embracing your Second Amendment rights, and who, since I don't know your name, you must be following the law because you aren't in the news?
Yeah, I'm a CCW holder also. Is there a little more expensive?
Yeah, so you're obviously a very conscientious participant here. Is there anything about the enhanced background check that causes you to think it's going to weed out more goofballs than what we had 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
Not at all. It's you can make a gun on your own, but a piece of pipe and some well-doing, they can still acquire or steal from someone else. It happens every day. It wouldn't change anything.
David, I appreciate the call, man. I also appreciate the clarification. You can tell it's been a minute since I've gone to the trouble of acquiring a new firearm. David also brings up that the manufacturing of firearms for somebody with a reasonable level of competence is very achievable. But between 3D printing and the availability of parts and the accessibility of so-called ghost gun plans online, if you have access to basic machining tools, you can build a reasonably functional firearm at a very low price point relative to the cost of jumping through all these hoops. Is there any putting that toothpaste back in the tube? Are we ever going to solve that problem, or do we have to come back around to individual responsibility here?
Well, I think you've got the added factor in this equation that would you agree or disagree with me that mass murderers have something wrong in the head?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So would you agree with me that no person in their right mind would wantonly and willfully want to take the lives of dozens of children in a school?
Naturally.
Okay. So that's one of the things that drives me insane, and I don't mean to do a bad pun here, is there's so little discussion about the mental health of these people who make these horrible decisions. It's all about a physical object that does absolutely nothing outside the hands of a human being who shouldn't have it. That to me just tells me that it really isn't about protecting society. It's about controlling an object that they don't understand and that they disagree with.
If President Biden had gone on television today and instead of announcing that he's going to kind of double down on these admittedly failed policies, and instead he said these resources, this equal amount of resource of taxpayer dollars, of government energy, of human skull sweat, is going to go into identifying and intervening with people who are exhibiting overt signs of violent mental illness, understanding that the vast majority of mentally ill people are completely harmless. But you get the Caesar Sayox, the lunatic in his van, posting on Facebook 14 times a day about how he wants to blow up Nancy Pelosi. When you find that guy and you go out and just, hey, buddy, you want to get a cup of coffee? I feel like you got some stuff you need to talk about. Wouldn't that, in reality, be a greater step towards safety in society than making you and me and David wait an extra 3 days while the paperwork gets slow walked?
Well, yes, and it goes back to what I said a couple of minutes ago. It isn't just about helping people who have mental illnesses who may be violent. And again, not everyone with a mental illness is violent. It isn't all about just protecting innocent people. It is about an inanimate object that they want to vindicate and that they want to blame for the human condition.
Which goes back to my theory that Democrats don't want to solve problems. They just want to talk about why you should be scared of problems and elect them to protect you from the thing that exists.
Absolutely.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Some people in Bass Lake returning home. An evacuation order for Sierra Spring Village was lifted yesterday, 1 week after families had to leave, but the Madera County Sheriff's Office warns they may have to pack up again with a new storm moving in. The mobile home park has significant damage due to snow causing carports and roofs to collapse. A community meeting going to be held tomorrow at the Best Western. Emergency helps all the way to families stranded in Three Rivers. Firefighters in Tulare County delivered food, water, and other vital supplies by helicopter yesterday. More than 160 people stuck on the other side of South Fork Bridge after flooding washed out roads. Some areas under at least 3 feet of water at one point. But with today's big storm, residents say they have no choice but to wait it out. The back and forth in Florida's legislature continues over a bill that would potentially shut down one political party. Fox's Evan Brown reports.
A Republican in the Florida legislature filed a bill earlier this year which, if it became law, would decertify political parties in the state that had ever endorsed slavery as a platform position. The bill, authored by Florida State Senator Blaise Ingoglia, is specifically targeting Democrats whose state party did once endorse slavery. A Democratic lawmaker is now proposing an amendment to also include parties which work to suppress minority voter turnout. And Ingoglia, the Republican, agrees to it, saying Democrats running the Florida legislature in the 1880s instituted a poll tax. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Stormy weather continues through tonight, further impacting already swollen rivers and streams, keeping us under a flood watch through tomorrow morning. About a half to a full inch of rain expected on the valley floor with today's storm, and 2 to 4 inches of rain in the mountains below 7,000 feet. Above that, a winter storm warning with 2 to 8 feet of snow and 65-mile-an-hour winds. Finally, a high wind advisory for the west side and coastal range until late tonight, with speeds up to 70 miles an hour. Highs today are in the low 60s, overnight lows in the 40s. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And looking at traffic, Highway 152 at the Santanella Road off-ramp, there's been a collision. No injuries there. That's the eastbound area. Tulare County Road 112th Avenue 160 to 184. Its road is closed due to flooding. And also in Tulare County, South Westwood and West Orange, that's in the Porterville area, the road has been shut down due to possible flooding. In south of Fresno, South Temperance, South Golden State Boulevard, cleanup after a collision. Unknown injuries there. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. 2 for $6, the best deal in fast food. When you want the best deal on the best meal, choose Wendy's 2 for $6. Pick from Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, 10-piece Crispy Nugs, or a medium strawberry lemonade. Pair any two for just $6. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $6.
Do you ever get the feeling that the world is being held together with duct tape? Every day we're thrown some new meaningless drama in the fake news to distract us from the reality we're all about to face. Between the government trying to print their way out of debt, military conflicts, the disintegration of our most trusted institutions, and a looming food shortage, preparedness is no longer a choice. It's a necessity. You can trust My Patriot Supply. Our emergency food kits come packed with tasty meals averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one kit for each person in your family. Self-reliance is the only alternative to government food lines. Time is running out. Become ungovernable. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and save on dozens of different emergency food kits while you can. These kits are in stock, ship fast, and arrive in unmarked boxes for your privacy. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com before the next crisis strikes. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, then listen to Mark.
I had fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds, and more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic. I'll be totally honest, I tried a different product, and I wasn't happy with the different product. You guys are considerably cheaper than the other brand, and I can really feel the difference.
Andro 400 Max, the extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe, easy, and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Feel and look like a new man. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
What do you do when your doctor is not available? You just sit home and suffer, thinking about what if? Come on, this one is too easy because there is a premium urgent care very close to you in Fresno, Clovis, and Selma. Have I, Ray Appleton, used premium urgent care? Yeah. Why do you think I'm talking about them? Premium urgent care can offer you very quick and effective treatments for COVID, for flu, strep testing, and all kinds of respiratory uglies. Sinus infections, yeah, they run rampant here. Premium urgent care. Even orthopedic pain. Premium Urgent Care can help you out right now. Click premiumuc.com. Ladies, even feminine care. That's a priority at Premium Urgent Care. So if you're sick and you need care right now, and your regular doc is not available, or maybe you don't have a regular doctor, Premium Urgent Care in Fresno, Clovis, and Selma can handle just about anything that drops out of the sky. I know this because they know me. They have very flexible hours. They accept most insurance plans. Premium Urgent Care will take care of you. Click premiumuc.com and feel better.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where prints are perfect, guaranteed.
Selma Swap. Buy or sell cars, parts, and big boy toys. March 18th, Highway 99 at Mountain View. 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. SelmaSwap.com.
Commercial Radiator, your full-service repair shop for large industrial radiators, ag equipment, or to keep your fleet on the road. That's Commercial Radiator.
This is KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and E. Curtis Johnson.
You know, Philip, I forgot to wish you Happy Pie Day.
Oh, March 14th.
March 14th, Happy Pie Day. I'm a big believer in pies. In fact, we're having pies tonight. We're having chicken pot pies and a cherry pie afterwards.
This is by design. Like you guys are celebrating Pie Day.
We are celebrating Pie Day, if for no other reason other than to eat unhealthy foods. It's not that we have any love for the mathematical formula of what is pie. It's just an excuse to eat unhealthy foods.
Have you ever seen one of those folks who has memorized pi to 100 points? Not just 3.14, but they can actually rattle off the first 100 or the first 1,000 digits.
I'm happy to say no. I have never met that anal retentive person.
I love those weird little intellectual feats that people do. People that have memorized all the states and all the states' capitals, or people that can actually go to a map and without the benefit of any kind of political lines, identify to you every country in Europe, that kind of thing. People who have memorized the periodic table of elements. I understand all of those. I don't understand memorizing pi past maybe 5 or 6 digits. Like, I could understand if you work in engineering, why knowing it to 5 or 6 digits would be beneficial. I have no earthly clue what the benefit is of knowing pi to 150 digits, other than to simply say, I did that.
Well, I don't want to sound mean here, but the reason why I think you cannot identify with those people is because you at one point in your life have had a date and eventually got married.
Wow, that was a lot more tactful than the way I was going to phrase that exact same thought.
Yeah, generally those people would be helped by some companionship. So,
oh man, it's not even 4:00. I really can't say the answer that I want to that. Oh man, it is just killing me.
I'm so glad that Philip edited himself, and shall we move on to the next subject?
Let's
we're gonna have to get shovels here. We keep digging so deep. This is we were talking about gun violence and gun safety, and this is another sad thing out of Santa Rosa. That's another incident where a stabbing has happened at a school. 2 students were brought to the administrator's office while they were being searched. 17-year-old's backpack, they've allegedly found a fixed blade knife that was 8 inches long. Now, I have carried a pocket knife since I was about 5. I used it inappropriately once when I was about 6 with a neighborhood boy behind the alley.
Yeah.
And I lost my pocket knife for a month.
Oh, wow.
It was like, oh, no, you used it improperly. You do not deserve to have that. We're taking it from you for a month. We're going to give it back to you. If you do that unsafe thing again with a knife, you'll never get it back.
Oh, wow. And
I learned my lesson. To me, a knife is just a tool, and I use it quite frequently as such. I can't imagine the tragedy of this, where you send your child to school and they come home because they don't come home because they've been stabbed with a fixed blade knife.
Yeah, this story is complicated by the fact that it takes place at Montgomery High School up in Santa Rosa. This is where about 2 weeks ago a 16-year-old was fatally stabbed. And so school officials got word of a 15-year-old possessing a knife. They went to question him, and as they were in the process of, I think, tracking him down, they saw him pass an object to another student, a 17-year-old. They confiscated it, and that was the 4-inch folding-style knife, a pocket knife. The 2 kids were brought into the admin office where they searched the 17-year-old's backpack and then found that fixed blade knife that was about 8 inches long. Both kids have been sent home with their parents. The administrator called the police, handed the knives over to them, and the kids were arrested that following Saturday for felony possession of a weapon. They say it's unknown why the kids brought the knives to campus. Is this an example of a social contagion? Something terrible happens, it spikes a sense of fear, and 15-year-olds and 17-year-olds, having no life experience with just how brutal and ugly and violent stabbings are, get scared and start carrying a knife because I need it for protection, not having any earthly clue what that actually means.
Well, that's certainly one possibility. You and I, at one point in our lives, were knucklehead teenage boys.
Mm-hmm.
Boys are attracted to macho things. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Boys sometimes do stupid things in trying to figure out their manhood, for lack of a better term, trying to figure out where the boundaries are. Guys are also attracted to objects like big, scary knives because in the mind of a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old or whatever the age may be, it just looks cool. And there's not necessarily anything nefarious about it. It just looks cool, and it's slightly naughty and dangerous. And we live in a society where, maybe back in Leave It to Beaver days, that was perfectly normal and healthy. We live in a society now where bad things happen because of this. And we have a completely zero tolerance on it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that zero tolerance for this kind of thing is necessarily bad, but sometimes, a boy just trying to learn to be a man sometimes makes a mistake.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but what you're building to is by criminalizing stupid boys being stupid boys, you are condemning a child you're condemning a child to a level of punishment that doesn't help them learn how to be a man, but instead defeats their effort to grow up, period.
Yes. For example, if a kid had a tire iron in his backpack, not much purpose for a tire iron in school.
Yeah, not really.
But because a tire iron isn't generally associated with stabbing someone, maybe the kid gets detention. Maybe he gets, some sort of punishment.
Yeah.
But if he had something like that, they're probably not going to call the police. But because it's a knife, and because there are stabbings and knives can be used to inflict death and harm upon other people, it's like, oh, well, we got to call the cops. And again, I'm not saying that schools shouldn't have the right to take precautions, but it's always punishment to the extreme. It's all justice and no mercy.
I think that this high school, especially in this moment, there is, I suspect, a very high likelihood that following this stabbing, this fatal stabbing 2 weeks ago, I think it's extremely likely that there was a conversation, an assembly, an announcement, a communique to parents, probably some combination of most of those things, where it was reiterated. Do not bring knives to school. Do not have weapons on campus. If you get caught with knives, if you get caught with brass knuckles, if you get caught with this stuff, you're going to be thrown out of school. We're going to have you arrested. And then these idiots show up with these knives. And again, the folding knife is a pocket knife. It's not wildly different than the pocket knife that I'm carrying right now. The fixed blade knife's a hunting knife. There's not really a need for that in everyday life.
Yeah, you're not going to use that as a letter opener.
Yeah, a little bit much for that.
A little overkill, no pun intended.
Should these kids be thrown out of school, or should these kids have to walk around picking up garbage with "I'm an idiot" t-shirts on?
I'd like to see as little as possible, but we live in a fearful society, unfortunately, because we oftentimes are presented with things that we should be afraid of.
I really wonder if we wouldn't see some of these issues with boys behaving in a stupid way dealt with simply by bringing back the dunce cap.
Yeah, checking Tuesday afternoon traffic in the area of Dickinson and West Whitesbridge. You need to be very careful. There's a puppy that's been running loose and causing traffic problems. In Tulare County, Road 112 to Avenue 160 to 184, the road has been closed. Also South Westwood and West Orange in Tulare County due to possible flooding there. In Hanford, the 5100 block of 21st Avenue, there's been a collision with injuries. Emergency vehicles were called. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Churches.
There are so many reasons to get hooked on Church's 8-piece shrimp meal. It's dippable, crunchable, downright irresistible, and it starts at $5.99. The only catch? It's only here for a limited time. Church's Texas Chicken. Welcome to the great state of flavor.
Come on.
Hey there, Charlie. You look down. What's up?
That steam cleaner's busted. Again.
Jeez, I don't know what you plan to do, but you need to get it fixed right this time.
Thought we were getting it fixed right the last time.
Well, have you tried calling A&E?
Well, I didn't buy it from A&E.
Doesn't matter. A&E can get it fixed, no matter where you got it. From what I heard, they're the best.
Oh, good to know.
Hey, call A&E. They'll get out here and get us back up and running right away. And maybe it's time to get a new steam cleaner. Go by there and get a look at their selection.
A&E Pressure Washers on the 99 between North and Cedar, just south of Kuchenbecker Tractor. Look for the big blue sign. For water recycling systems, steam cleaners, and of course, pressure washers, give A&E a call at 275-3891 or visit aefresno.com. And for your service needs, no matter where you bought it, call A&E at 275-3891. 275-3891.
Hi, I'm Jake Sheely. My family farms pistachios in Kings County. This year, more than 519,000 acres of pistachios will be harvested in California. Here's a shocking fact. Pistachio farming creates the equivalents of 47,000 full-time jobs for Californians. Folks who are working hard to produce a sustainable, plant-based protein for the world. So thanks for your support, California, and thanks for buying California pistachios.
Learn more from American pistachio growers at americanpistachios.org.
To be a leader in the field, you have to prove you can run like one. John Deere's 8R Series tractors leave no room for compromise. Intuitive and powerful, these machines are ready to impress with up to 370 engine horsepower that's efficient and smart while delivering torque when you need it. Check out Thomas & Tractor Company in Fireball, where for over 55 years they strive to provide their customers with individual, personalized attention. Thomas & Tractor Company in Fireball, where superior service is standard equipment.
Salt is for seasoning, not drinking. Water softeners add sodium to your water without filtering it. Here's something better than a softener: a LifeSource salt-free water system. Softeners do not filter water and remove healthy minerals. LifeSource filters water from every tap and keeps healthy minerals without maintenance, salt, or servicing. New customers can get a free APA-Pure antibacterial filter, a savings of $825 with qualifying purchase. Offer ends soon, so call 559-330-1850. LifeSourceWater.com.
Got an old or unused vehicle you need to get rid of? Donate it to the original carsforkids.org. Towing is free, and you'll be helping kids in our communities. Carsforkids.org is the best vehicle donation charity, impacting the lives of kids thanks to your vehicle donations. Carsforkids.org picks up vehicles in any condition, and you'll receive a $50 gift card. Don't delay. Donate today.
Carsforkids.org. Right off the car, not the kid.
Well, that's it. Put a fork in us, we're done. Arrivederci, sayonara, we'll catch you on the flip side. Robinson's Home Furnishings at River Park is going out of business. After almost 23 years serving this wonderful community, our owner is retiring. And no, he's not relaxing. He'll be spending more time as a newly elected Kings County supervisor. As you know, with going out of business sales, the savings are monumental and everything must go. Come one, come all, for the absolute best lines in the furniture industry before they're gone. From Hooker Furniture to Braddington Young to Century to Stickley, they're all here for your selection. And yes, special orders are available. We will be delivering each and every one as they arrive over the next several months. Robinson's Home Furnishings at River Park, 110 East Alluvial, Fresno. The final sale with savings of up to 50% off MSRP. Hurry before we're gone. We love you, Fresno, Madera, Kings, and Tulare counties. Thank you for the decades of support. We will miss you.
Discount taken from the manufacturer's suggested retail price.
Miss one of your favorite KMJ shows? Grab the podcast anytime. Just ask your smart speaker. Get it on Apple, Google, Amazon, Spotify, or go to the podcast page at kmjnow.com.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Thank you for choosing the afternoon drive. My name is E. Curtis Johnson. This is Philip Teresi. We've been talking a little bit here this afternoon about how sometimes kids do foolish things. And in an adult world, boy, there's just no tolerance for anything. Report out of Clovis about the Clovis Police Department responding to what they first thought was an armed robbery at the Sierra Vista Mall. Turned out to be something else. This happened on Saturday afternoon, about 7 p.m. Somebody called 911 to report that a child had been threatened with a gun and somebody got their cell phone stolen. As it turned out, it was something entirely different.
It was kids being really, really dumb. The investigation established no gun was ever seen, but the caller had reached out to the police department because others were yelling it and running away. Eventually, they determined that it was a prank. It was kids teasing some friends of theirs. Nobody was injured, and the people responsible, here's a surprise, left when officers arrived.
Oh, shocked.
So Clovis PD on Facebook left a post saying, children should make smarter decisions about when and where to do pranks on friends, adding, quote, a mall on a Saturday evening is definitely not the place to be yelling gun.
Yeah, boy, bad move. Bad, immature move.
Bad move, incredibly immature. Akin to yelling fire in a crowded theater in 2023, yelling gun and running in a public place, you're going to cause a panic. Somebody's going to get hurt when people rush for the exits if it isn't immediately obvious that it's stupid kids being silly.
So where do you think they got the idea for this? Was it
the internet? They got it from the internet.
You don't think possibly that they were just bored and somebody went, "Hey, let's do this," or was it? Do you think it's planned?
I think it was planned to the extent that one way or another somebody got this bad idea in their head. It gave them a case of the giggles because in that cartoon brain kid thought process, they imagined their friend Agog running for the exits while bystanders watch at the idiot child running and laugh. And they didn't think about, oh yeah, bad things happen in public places constantly in the 21st century, and somebody could get seriously hurt if they actually believe this. I'm glad, and I'm not surprised that Clovis PD turned up, took it seriously, and dealt with it. As a parent, if I get a call from Clovis PD that my kid was participating in this, oh man, they're grounded. Oh man, they're grounded. Grounded, possibly, depending upon the age, it's time to revisit corporal punishment. I'm thinking a smack upside the head.
Well, that's another subject for talk radio. But at least ground them till they're done with college, right?
Oh yeah, no, your phone's gone, your video games are gone. You aren't going to enjoy anything about life except the minimum sustenance I'm required to provide by law until you have written, "I'm sorry for being an idiot" 10,000 times.
Good dad, good dad.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Is your well almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit StricklandWellDrilling.com. Whether it's the soft, sandy soils of the West, the clay and cobble of the East, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today at 352-7228. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit StricklandWellDrilling.com.
And let me tell you, it's been a real adventure dealing with the Zuber team and the potential sale of my home on Van Ness. 2903 Van Ness. Hint, hint, it's gorgeous, 2 stories. It's over 100 years old. I've done much to it, and I want you to live there. Get a hold of the Zuber team, please. I used a couple of programs to make sure I could get into the condominium that I wanted to in kind of an expeditious, quickie way. The Zuber team has a number of programs that can help you out. If you have to move on now, ask the Zuber team to give you an instant cash offer on the place that you're selling. With the Zuber team, you can buy before you sell. Ask about the trade-up program. Darren and Daryl will take care of you and any other of the Zuber team members. The Zuber team with Real Broker has been at it since 1971. They've sold close to 7,000 homes. They have hundreds of 5-star reviews between Google and Zillow. Click Zuber Team, Z-U-B-E-R, zuberteam.com, or Google Zuber Team. They're so easy to find, and they're easier to work with.
Selma Swap. Buy or sell cars, parts, and big boy toys. March 18th, Highway 99 at Mountain View. 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. SelmaSwap.com.
News Talk, 580 AM, 1059 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Well, the city of Porterville's declared a local state of emergency as storms continue to hit the South Valley. And the Kings and San Joaquin Rivers closed to recreational users. KMJ's Liz Kern reports.
The order effective immediately. The Fresno County Sheriff's Office closing the Kings River from Pine Flat Dam to the Tulare and Kings County lines. The San Joaquin River closed from Millerton Dam to the Merced County line. Sheriff John Zanoni says the order was made in the best interest of public safety due to continuous large amounts of rainfall and water runoff throughout the county, causing extremely dangerous conditions. River access is denied until further notice for all recreational activities, such as boating, canoeing, kayaking, swimming, and floating. Deputies will patrol and monitor activity on both rivers, and violators will be subject to citations. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
A heads up for drivers in Madera. Work on the Cottonwood Creek Bridge begins Sunday. Caltrans will actually replace 3 older bridges on State Route 99. The project expected to take nearly 2 years. It'll shut down the eastbound Avenue 12 on-ramp for quite a while. But another storm is on track to hit this weekend and could cause delays. Officials will give an update soon on how long they think the closures will last. A California-based senior facility and its leadership facing charges related to COVID-19 exposure in the early days of the pandemic. Fox's Matt Napolitano reports.
The charges against the CEO, administrator, and executive vice president of Silverado Senior Living's Beverly Place location outside Los Angeles, stemming from COVID-19 exposure in March of 2020.
The new resident was not tested for COVID-19, nor required to quarantine in isolation prior to admission.
LA District Attorney George Gascon in a press conference Tuesday, failure to quarantine that COVID-stricken patient resulted in the death of Brittany Bruner Ringo, a 32-year-old nurse.
In addition to Ms. Bruner Ringo, 13 residents contracted COVID-19 and died.
Among the charges, felony elder endangerment, which carries a prison sentence of up to 4 years. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
10 people without a home after 2 trees fell this morning in northeast Fresno. 5 adults and 5 children were displaced. Those trees fell on Sierra Madre Avenue and 4th Street. 2 apartments impacted, 2 cars damaged. Authorities say the high winds from the storms could have played a role in the trees falling. Red Cross is helping the families who were displaced. Yosemite National Park remains closed as it continues to weather another round of storms. The park's been closed since a massive storm at the end of February, dumping more than a dozen feet of snow. More rain on the way, renewing flooding concerns as crews still work to clear snow from roads, parking lots, and buildings. The park has pushed any reopening until March the 17th. Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Stormy weather continues through tonight, further impacting already swollen rivers and streams, keeping us under a flood watch through tomorrow morning. About a half to a full inch of rain expected on the valley floor with today's storm, and 2 to 4 inches of rain in the mountains below 7,000 feet. Above that, a winter storm warning with 2 to 8 feet of snow and 65-mile-an-hour winds. Finally, a high wind advisory for the west side and coastal range until late tonight, with speeds up to 70 miles an hour. Highs today are in the low 60s, overnight lows in the 40s. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic in the Hanford area, the 5100 block of 21st Avenue. Earlier, there was a collision. Injuries involved. Emergency vehicles reported to the scene, and the cleanup is in progress there. In Tulare County, Road 112 to Avenue 160 to 184 has been closed down. Also, South Westwood and West Orange due to potential flooding. That's in the Porterville area. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and E. Curtis Johnson.
What he said. Yeah, it is the Afternoon Drive. I'm E. Curtis Johnson. That's Philip Teresi over there. I am much older than Philip. I almost said not only am I older, but I'm wiser. But no, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. I'm just older. And Nikki Haley, who's clearly running for president of the United States, she may have just lost my support over something that she said in South Carolina, and it has to do with Social Security and Medicare. Now, I am no spring chicken. On the same hand, I'm not something that's going to happen next week or next year, but I have reached that point in life where my retirement fund is pretty important to me, and I've also realized that I am going to need my Social Security at a certain point. Not next week, not next year, few years from now, but I'm going to need it. So in her campaign speech in Myrtle Beach, she's promised not to touch the benefits of older people, and I'm quoting there.
Yeah.
Well, I am one of those older people. She says, we're not taking it from seniors. We're not talking about anyone who's been promised anything. Well, quite frankly, Haley, the whole American public has been promised something. If you've paid one dime of Social Security, you've been promised that. She says, my parents are in their 80s. I don't want anybody touching theirs. But then she went on to say that her children, both of whom are in their 20s, are part of a generation for whom the benefits should be altered. Now, I understand the finances of it. And, clear back when I was in my 20s, I would wonder, hey, I'm paying into this thing called Social Security. Is it actually going to be there when I need it? Well, now that I'm going to need it sometime over the next decade, we've got a candidate, a Republican no less, who's talking about messing with it. Now, I understand that we do need to fix it because it's going to go bankrupt here by, within the next 9 years, something like that?
Yeah, like 2035.
2035. Okay, all right, 2035, a little later. I will still be drawing from it in 2035, so I need that.
But you will have come in under the wire. You will not be of the, and I just don't know where the other end lies. I know that I am the last year of Generation X. I'm 1979. Are you Generation X or are you a baby boomer?
Well, I'm really tail end of the baby boom.
Okay, yeah.
But I think and act much more Generation X.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't identify with the baby boomer generation at all.
Oh no, I understand perfectly because my dear friend Skip Echevarria is, according to the lines in the sand, a millennial, and is very much a Generation X in thought and spirit.
Yes, well, she's my friend also. I agree. And she would be really annoyed that we would shrink her head like that. A licensed therapist, and we're shrinking her head, and she's not here to defend herself. But I digress.
You're going to be okay. Under Nikki Haley's plan, you're going to make it under the wire. You'll get your Social Security benefits. I'm going to get screwed. Because I'm not 22 listening to this proposal with enough of a head start to be able to talk to my legislator and either say, okay, I get back what I put in, or I no longer have to put in. I've paid into this system my entire life, and my financial advisor has been very clear about this since I started in earnest planning for my retirement. And I mean, like, guys, if you're in your 40s or you're older and you've never talked to a financial advisor, even if you aren't going to do that particular road, like the whole investment thing as you're seeing, it is absolutely worth taking somebody out for a steak dinner for a consult.
Absolutely. I would add to that, if you work for a company that gives you a 401k, sink as much into it as you can.
If you aren't at least putting enough in to get the company match, you're literally leaving money on the table.
Yes.
But one of the things that my financial advisor has said to me basically every time we've talked about retirement is Social Security is not going to be there for you, dude. You need to plan your retirement as if though it doesn't exist. And then if you get very, very lucky, maybe you'll get something out of it. You need to plan your retirement as if though it does not exist. And so that's the advice being given to people in their 40s now. I know that Nikki Haley is talking about the financial solvency of these programs and the reality that if we don't address their solvency, they will hit bankruptcy, which means that they will become a burden on active taxpayers if they are continued. Instead of cutting the benefits, why aren't we talking about reinvesting in those programs in a way that the generations who have paid into them but stand to lose don't take it in the shorts because of the mismanagement of the geriatric and the middle boomers?
Well, you should be Nikki Haley's campaign advisor, because I like Nikki Haley. I wanted to like her. She's said a lot of things, but as someone who's I shouldn't say about, but sooner than I'd like to be, I'm going to need those funds. So any candidate that starts talking about doing away with those, now I'm getting nervous. And I'm not one that flinches at the slightest little thing. I think some of it's a matter of wording. I mean, she could have said, hey, Social Security, because of all the things that you've heard about it, here's what we need to do with the up-and-coming generation. The up-and-coming generation needs to start investing, and here's a plan so that we don't have to cut people off from Social Security. Instead, she said, well, it's not going to be there for my kids. Well, people have interpreted that, well, if it's not going to be there for your kids, it's not going to be there for mine either.
Yeah.
And I wonder if she's just ended her campaign.
I think that she can argue this as, I'm not going to be the kind of politician who stands here and lies to your face to protect your feelings. It's not a popularity contest. I am vying for the position of chief administrator of the country. And if I'm going to do that, I've got to be honest with everybody. I think there's potentially an opportunity to parlay this into a message of integrity and strength. The problem is I don't know if the majority of I read a headline and made up my mind with a 10-second soundbite uninformed voters will be able to detect that nuance.
Well, a good point, especially since I'm not an uninformed voter. Yeah. I don't make up my mind on a 10-second soundbite. But I've spent most of my life looking at the campaign promises of politicians, and if they say they're going to do something, if they say they're going to cut something, they generally do it. And quite frankly, that scares the hell out of me.
I've come to believe that Social Security is our national Ponzi scheme. I think that once upon a time it was a very good idea, and it's been raided, it's been underinvested in. It simply has not been managed the way any good, serious, ethical financial advisor would manage it. You go talk to any financial planner. Go to Wells Fargo Advisors. Go to Morgan Stanley. Go to Edward Jones. Go to any of them. And sit down with one of these guys and have the conversation. Make your plans for your future. But ask them if they could name 3 ways that we could run Social Security better. I guarantee they've got them loaded and ready to go, just off the top of their head.
Yes, absolutely. And I agree with everything you said there. It has been run like a Ponzi scheme. Instead of a sacred trust that we should have left alone, we've definitely mismanaged it.
It worries me that there are more people who just want to be told that everything's going to be okay. Because, and again, I'm not talking about somebody who has, you've invested in Social Security your entire working life. You have done the work, you have made the investment. This is not an unearned benefit. This is truly an entitlement. You are entitled to get back what you paid in. You are entitled to receive the benefit of the investment that you made. And there's that conflation of entitlement and unearned benefit that I think happens in the minds of a lot of people when they're trying to make a decision. I don't like what she's saying. I find it refreshing that she's saying it.
Well, yes, I like the fact that she's talking about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
But she's done it in the wrong way. She's and this is pretty early in her campaign. And again, I'm upset about this because I like her. I see her as possible presidential material, and I don't want to be a one-item voter. But she started off wrong. If for no other reason, and this is coming from a guy who's worked in 7 nursing homes, people with walkers and canes, you don't want to make them angry because they will hit you with their canes and they will throw their walkers at you.
Boy, is there anything like taking a whack from a brass-headed cane?
Oh, no.
One of 3 things happens on the heels of this. Nikki Haley just burned herself out, and the whatever the primary comes to hold in 2023, 2024, Nikki Haley's done. Two, somebody else sees this, Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump, Mike Pence, one of the contenders sees this and immediately comes out with, I have sat down with the biggest brains from the best of banks, and I have a plan to save this. Or Nikki Haley, in the next, I'm going to say 72 hours, comes out with her plan to rescue it. I sat down with the biggest brains. The reality is this thing's going to be bankrupt if we don't manage it better starting now. Here's how we do that. I told you the truth. Now I'm telling you how we can fix it. Can she save it if she rolls that out?
Well, I would say this. Do your old friend here one favor. Teach me how to run the control console here at KMJ before you leave to go be somebody's campaign manager. Because with that kind of sound advice, you're going to end up running somebody's campaign.
God, I hope not. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Online, always at KMJNow.com. We got a new app waiting for you. It's free in the Google Play and iOS stores. Just search for KMJ Now and take us wherever you are.
Taking a look at traffic in Madera County, Avenue 12 at Riverstone Boulevard. There's been a collision. No injuries involved there. Westbound 180 at 41, there's a report of a fire of some sort. And in Tulare County, Road 112 to Avenue 160 to 184, it has been closed down. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Well, that's it. Put a fork in us, we're done. Arrivederci, sayonara, we'll catch you on the flip side. Robinson's Home Furnishings at River Park is going out of business. After almost 23 years serving this wonderful community, our owner is retiring. And no, he's not relaxing. He'll be spending more time as a newly elected Kings County supervisor. As you know, with going out of business sales, the savings are monumental and everything must go. Come one, come all, for the absolute best lines in the furniture industry before they're gone. From Hooker Furniture to Braddington Young to Century to Stickley, they're all here for your selection. And yes, special orders are available. We will be delivering each and every one as they arrive over the next several months. Robinson's Home Furnishings at River Park, 110 East Alluvial, Fresno. The final sale with savings of up to 50% off MSRP. Hurry before we're gone. We love you, Fresno, Madera, Kings, and Tulare counties. Thank you for the decades of support. We will miss you.
Discount taken from the manufacturer's suggested retail price.
Clean and healthy water is essential for living your best life. LifeSource is the whole home water system that will change your life. LifeSource gives you filtered and delicious water from every tap, filtering out the bad stuff and keeping the good stuff for a healthier, happier you. No maintenance needed. New customers can get a free APA-Pure antibacterial filter, valued at $825 with qualifying purchase. Call 559-330-1850, LifeSourceWater.com. LifeSource, taste and feel the difference.
Great news, Fresno. Vintage Days at Fresno State are back April 14th through the 16th. It's 3 days of big fun with something for everyone, including all the delicious food, fun, games, live music, a craft fair, and more. The kids will enjoy the petting zoo and train ride. See all the action on Vendor Alley, including employment opportunities. The return of Vintage Days at Fresno State is proudly sponsored by Portive Subs, Onacar, Noble Credit Union, and KMJ. For details or vendor booth availability, go to KMJNow.com.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
With Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, you can check if you're paying too much for home insurance, because giving you options is the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, like bringing brownies to a dinner party. But I never bring brownies with nuts, because not everyone likes nuts, so they wouldn't eat those brownies. And even people who do like nuts will still eat brownies without them. Why? Because they're brownies.
But still, it's the right thing to do. So compare rates with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Hello, I'm Megan Velasquez with Valley Caregiver Resource Center and Program Manager of the Oasis Adult Day Program, designed to help those diagnosed with the many different forms of dementia. We're also here to support caregivers with the many challenges they face, because moments of joy and closeness can be overshadowed by frustration, anxiety, fear, and exhaustion.
Dementia is ever-changing, not only for your loved one, but for you as a caregiver. In a community with many needs, there's one program that stands out for its support of seniors with dementia. The Oasis Adult Day program will assist you by providing supervised care for your loved one in a fun and social environment while giving you, the caregiver, a much-needed break.
We're Oasis Adult Day Program at Valley Caregiver Resource Center. We are affordable and compassionate and look forward to answering all of your questions at 559-224-9121. Thank you.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. This is the Afternoon Drive. My name is Philip Teresi. No, my name is E. Curtis Johnson. That's Philip Teresi.
Yes, it is.
Wow. Now, it's kind of rare for me to just read something. I would prefer more to talk and put it in my own words. But the power of this article is just unavoidable, and I have to share it with you. This is from the New York Post. It's written by a writer named Maud Maron. And the headline, the title is, "By Democrats, I'm leaving party that disgracefully supports censorship." Here's what Maud has to say. The latest House subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government hearing was the final straw. I can no longer be a Democrat after watching my party of 3 decades ignore the serious implications of vast government censorship and desperately, sometimes comically, try to shoot the messengers. Last week's hearing was meant to take testimony on the implications of government censorship reported in the Twitter files, a series of articles released on social media platform Twitter outlining the censorship industrial complex. But what it actually did was draw an astonishingly clear distinction between today's Democrats and Republicans when it comes out to our most fundamental and important right, freedom of speech. After Elon Musk purchased Twitter, he gave several journalists an open invitation to look at the company's internal mails. They discovered and exposed a truly shocking number of politicians and government agencies' requests to censor, silence, or deplatform and de-amplify every Americans who expressed ideas the government did not like. Elon Musk gave internal access to journalists to do a deep dive into the company. Bloomberg via Getty Images, it should be the biggest stories of our generation, covering the government's coordinated efforts to violate First Amendment rights of so many Americans. But with few exceptions, the mainstream media have ignored the reporting or ridiculed the factually undisputed reports of large-scale government censorship, the kind most Americans would have told you does not happen in this country. Now, there's more to it, but this is just a skewering of the Democratic Party, and quite frankly, hitting the head on the nail, describing what was an opportunity for them to defend freedom of speech, and which is in reality their plan and actions to stifle it. Am I taking that too far, Philip?
In terms of your interpretation of Ms. Marin's op-ed, no, I don't think that you are. Where I struggle with her essay is that it completely ignores that for the entire history of Twitter, both sides of the political divide have made takedown requests and have made reinstatement requests and have reported things as violations of terms of use and as violations of the law. In terms of one of the great examples of Twitter takedown requests from the Biden campaign was subsequent to the New York Post, this same publication, disclosing the contents of the Hunter Biden laptop. One of the many images from the Hunter Biden laptop that was getting circulated was Little Hunter, to put it delicately. And so there was this tremendous volume of takedown requests because the campaign felt that it was inappropriate to have the president's son's wedding tackle all over social media. It also happened to be a violation of the Twitter Terms of Service to be putting the man's business on display. But on top of that, Republicans make these kinds of requests all the time, too. Twitter actually, prior to the Musk takeover, they maintained a file of takedown requests that was totally bipartisan. And I think that there's a little bit of the left hand ignores what the right hand is doing.
Okay, fairly stated. All right, so another question for you on this. So I consider myself a massive consumer of news.
Yeah.
I always have been. But it's hard to tell these days what is reality. For example, after having read about this now for 3 years,
yeah,
I can't tell if there actually is such a thing as Hunter Biden's laptop.
Right.
I am so confused by that. And again, I am not a casual observer of news or national incidents or politics.
Yeah.
I pay way too much attention to it. But there's so much subterfuge behind the scenes, and there's so much manipulation by the media. And again, I'm just using this as one example. Serious as a heart attack. I don't know if Hunter Biden actually had a laptop and or if there's actually anything in it incriminating or interesting.
Your reaction is completely rational and reasonable, in my opinion, because the media, and it is the media, there are very few journalists working anymore.
Yes.
The media no longer functions as an apparatus whose primary mission is to inform and educate. We don't have the news. There isn't a definitive voice simply giving you who, what, where, when, how. That's exceedingly rare. Instead, there's spinmeisters, propagandists on both sides, constantly spewing out whatever is going to be the most expedient to the cause for which they have taken up the mantle. And all you have to do is put CNN and Fox News on two monitors side by side to see that you can have an identical story come out, or you can have a story come out and have coverage of that story with identical acknowledgement of the bare facts and spin so heavy that you'd think you were looking at newscasts from alternate realities.
True that.
Big tech comes from an area that is extremely politically liberal. And in a local and in a regional way, big tech has sided with liberal politicians because that is what has allowed them to grow and grow and grow, almost totally free of meaningful regulation. Sacramento isn't going to crack down on Meta when a third of Sacramento's elected representatives have campaign contributions from Meta that were significant, that were meaningful to their success in pursuing that office. And when you get up to the national level, and nobody has ever said this better than Donald Trump did in the primaries leading up to the 2016 election. All of these people are donating to both sides. That's how you get the ear of politicians. When you have money, you give them money, and then they listen to you. I've donated to Democrats, yes, and I've donated to Republicans, because that's what I've had to do in order to advance my business interests. And people loved him for saying it. He spoke the truth, and it wasn't a partisan statement. It was simply objective reality. These tech companies know that the majority of their user base is politically left. And so they mouth those talking points. I don't think that any of these tech companies genuinely care about the politics of any particular user. They care about what is going to be appealing to the rest of the user base. And what that turned into is guys like Dennis Prager is a great example of a prolific content creator.
Yes.
If you've never seen the PragerU videos, the guy is fantastic. Even when he's wrong, he's interesting. And Prager was creating this content. Well, people were reporting Prager. People, actual human beings out in the world, would get mad because Prager would make some outrageous claim like gender exists in a binary. And people would get mad and they'd flag the video and flag the video and flag the video. And then Facebook would say, oh, well, 100,000 people got mad at this, so we're not going to show Dennis Prager's stuff on the main page of Facebook right now. We're going to delist him for a while so that people don't stop checking in on the platform. And it wasn't because Mark Zuckerberg cares what Dennis Prager thinks about biology or gender politics. It was simply, well, this is making 16-year-olds angry, and I need my 16-year-olds to keep showing up so I can keep data harvesting. So I'm not going to serve them Dennis Prager. And in the vernacular of one side, it's delisting or it's massaging the algorithm. On the other side, it's shadow banning. And it's the same thing.
I follow you on that. So another question for you here. So I have never considered Twitter as news. To me, it's the equivalent of an old-fashioned community bulletin board that you would see at a laundromat or a town square. It's a place where people post their thoughts.
Sure.
But we have gotten to the point where Americans as a whole can't tell the difference between fact and opinion.
It's not that they can't, it's that they don't want to.
Now, rarely is anyone more cynical than I am. You passed me on the cynical meter.
Yeah, it's not that people can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not. It's that people don't want to. I don't have to agree with you. I'm not going to miss a meal. If I claim that the sky is green and the grass is blue, we can go outside and we'll argue about it. And we'll argue about the difference in the tinting on our spectacles. And we'll argue about atmospheric conditions. And we'll argue about how you define green and blue as concepts. And we'll go around and around and around and around and around. And I don't ever have to agree with you. Because even if, in fact, the moment I walk outside, I see that, no, the sky's blue and the grass is green. The electricity isn't going to get shut off at my house. The TV isn't going to disappear off my wall. And so if it's more satisfying to simply continue to disagree with you because you are part of the political opposition or you are part of a lifestyle that I don't agree with or whatever the us versus them is, I'm going to go ahead and hang out with the people who all keep telling me, no, you were right. The sky was totally a green yesterday. Let's get back to this in just a minute. Right now, an update of headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Water officials monitoring Lake Kaweah and determine its dam as an atmospheric river dumps more rain into the Central Valley. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Sacramento District says water is flowing out of the spillway at 4,200 cubic feet per second. It'll go up to roughly 7,800 cubic feet per second by Wednesday. The flow will decline into the weekend as rainfall weakens. The Corps says the dam is not close to overflowing. Fresno State celebrating Victor E. Bulldog, the fourth birthday today. The English Bulldog turning 8. He's currently working with Victor E. Bulldog III into spring, when the changing of the collar ceremony will officially induct Victor E. Bulldog IV as the new acting mascot. It's PI Day. KMJ's Liz Kern explains the significance.
The earliest known celebration of Pi Day was organized by a physicist at the San Francisco Exploratorium back in 1988. March 14th used to be a holiday just for mathematicians. Both the date, 314, and the value of pi, the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter, begin with the digits 314. You can just enjoy a slice of pie in honor of the day. Many restaurants and pizzerias are offering discounts for you to do so. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Another rainy afternoon with highs in the low to mid 60s, overnight lows in the 40s. Today's atmospheric river is further impacting already swollen rivers and streams, keeping us under a flood watch through tomorrow morning. About a half to a full inch of rain expected on the valley floor with today's storm, and about 2 to 4 inches in the mountains below 7,000 feet. Above that, a winter storm warning with 2 to 8 feet of snow and 65-mile-an-hour winds. Finally, a high wind advisory for the west side and coastal range until late tonight, with wind speeds up to 70 miles an hour. For KMJ, from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at Tuesday afternoon traffic, Avenue 12 and Riverstone Boulevard. This is in Madera County. There's been a collision, no injuries. Also in Madera County, Avenue 17, Road 26, a collision with no injuries. In Tulare County, Avenue 176, Road 128 has been closed in that area. And looking at Highway 180, it's closed from 10 miles east of the 63 junction to the 245 junction. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Inflation goes up. Do you feel like you need to refinance your car to fill up the gas tank? What if 2 years ago someone offered to sell you a lifetime supply of gas at $2.75 a gallon, but you told them no? Today, you would be kicking yourself. Right now, Planet Solar has that same offer for you on your electric bill. As inflation goes up, so does your utility bill. Lock in your energy prices today with a new Planet Solar system. Planet Solar is locally owned and operated in Clovis. They're big enough to offer you all the best brands and in-house financing, but small enough to give you the personal service you deserve. Call Planet Solar to find out how to lock in your electricity costs today. You'll be glad you did. Call them at 559-228-9245 or find them on the web at planetsolar.com. That's 228-9245 or planetsolar.com. License number 938313.
Looking for a new dining and beverage experience? Come check out Genesis Bistro at the northeast corner of Cedar and Nice in Fresno, where the chef's cuisine, along with our mixologist's full cocktail and wine bar, are getting people talking. Open for lunch and dinner, make your next meal with friends or family at Genesis Bistro, a one-of-a-kind experience. Also a great place to host a special event or celebration meal. To reserve an event, call 559-314-8284. Are you a talented hairstylist looking for a change? Check out 8028 Salon at Cedar and Nice, where we have open stations available and a move-in special. 8028 Salon offers a unique location and atmosphere for you and your clients. Elegantly located next to Genesis Bistro, your clients will have full options to enjoy food and drinks during service. 8028 Salon only has a few open stations left. Give your talents as a stylist the location you deserve at 8028 Salon. Inquire today at the location, northeast corner of Cedar and Nice in Fresno.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. During Staples Teacher-Palooza, teachers save big, or you save. Save 25% on classroom decor and up to 40% on brands like Post-it, Papermate, and Elmer's. In-store only, offer ends 4/1 while supplies last. Help your favorite teachers stock their classroom at Staples.
KMJ's Afternoon Drive continues right now. Here's Philip and E.
And it's the Afternoon Drive. Thank you so much for listening. My name is E. Curtis Johnson. Philip Teresi is shining some light on a subject for me, which I appreciate. But you'll hear me say before, I've said it in the past, that Philip and I have known each other since 1997. This is actually the third time that we have worked together. I have always found Philip to be wise beyond his years, which he's going to stick his finger down his throat at any moment and do the at that. But I mean what I say. So if you just joined us, I've been talking about an opinion piece, which normally I wouldn't read. I read a fair amount of it. When I say I wouldn't read it, I mean I wouldn't read it just on the air here on KMJ. It's written by a writer named Maud Marone. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name right, but she's essentially, she's been a Democrat her whole life. She's done this opinion piece, just quite frankly excoriating the Democrats for how they've handled this Twitter file thing. She says at the end of it, she says, "I am now, after 33 years as a registered Democrat and independent, and I like it. I can no longer vote in the primaries that usually send my representatives to City Hall, Albany, and Washington, D.C., but I can vote in the general elections, and I look forward to doing so. I will not vote for representatives who make light of my First Amendment rights or demand obseisance to my betters in the censorship industrial complex."
Boy, there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, she's right that politicians go to a social media platform and beg, plead, request, work the refs, as it were, to try and make that platform more hospitable to their particular political urgencies. It's a problem because it's not happening out in the open. It's not happening in plain view. It's these little backdoor conversations. And one, it's enabling politicians to go in and say, I don't like that, take it down. Two, it's giving the people who administer these social media sites a really, really outsized sense of the importance of these platforms. Depending upon how you view the evolution of society, whether you see us as the result of 14 billion years of evolution, random chance happening and happening and happening and happening until we find ourselves here today, or you believe that somewhere between 4,000 and 7,000 years ago we were created in the image of a loving God. In either event, we have arrived at this point where the tribalism has crept back into how we interact with each other, and we seek comfort over truth. We seek to have the world appear to be easily explained. And social media could be this incredible tool. The internet could be this incredible tool to facilitate this level of communication and awareness and empathy and productivity that launches us so far beyond the distance we've already come. Or it can turn into a cesspool of a bunch of people saying bad words to each other and trying to promote agendas that may or may not actually be good for anybody but the person promoting them.
Well, I think that's where it is.
Yeah.
And if I can jump off on this point here, something that she does not allude to, but something I've noticed for quite some time, in that the media used to be a defined thing.
Yes.
It was a newspaper or that you got once a day. Sometimes you got it in the morning, sometimes you got it in the evening. Or it was a magazine that maybe came out once a week or once a month. Or it was a radio station, or it was a TV station. And then I think what started the whole process was then came cable, where, it used to be you had 4 or 5 channels to watch on the media at any given time. And cable just fractured that. And so you ended up with these cable channels, for example, CNN. America really, truly, even though it had been around for a couple of years before this, America really discovered CNN during the first Gulf War. We were all glued to it, and they suddenly had this massive audience that they had never had before, and they morphed into what they became. And there was a point probably about a year after the Gulf War where I stopped watching CNN because I says, wait a second. What used to be a news outlet is now opinion pieces disguised as news.
Yeah.
And then came MSNBC and all of the others. And by that time, the internet was burgeoning. You had all of these websites. And the American populace, in the massive selection of what to watch, view, and read, we still continued to think of it all as, quote, the media, not really understanding or maybe even caring who was vetting any of the stuff that came out. And so we have what this writer is referring to with this Twitter blow up of, suddenly someone has pulled, the curtain back and somebody has said, oh, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
What's dangerous here is that we have allowed this to happen under our noses. But by choosing not to educate ourselves and by choosing to continue to subscribe to these avenues, we've empowered Twitter, we've empowered Facebook, and all of the lesser social media outlets. We've empowered all of them to act as the portal through which we view reality. And depending upon your political preferences and your social connections and your general interests, you can get on Facebook and it's puppy dogs and rainbows and grandma's baking cupcakes and all my old friends from high school planning to get together for the 25th anniversary reunion and graduation. Or it's the beginning of the end of the world and everything's terrifying and banks are collapsing and lizard people are running our government and somewhere in a basement underneath a pizza parlor somebody's eating a baby. And reality exists somewhere between those 2 points. Bad things do happen. They don't happen next door every day. But if you consume the 24-hour infotainment cycle, if you consume social media, it's really easy to start to think that it does. That the end of the world is right outside your front door constantly.
Which is why somewhere in the late 90s, I cut my cable. Because I couldn't, it's not that I couldn't keep up with the anxiety that kept being shoved down my throat. I just realized, no, wait a second, this isn't worth it. I can't change this. I'm being manipulated by the media rather than being entertained and informed by it.
Well, and so we get to, I think, the crux of the problem with social media. They don't even have the same level of culpability, liability as traditional media because of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. They're allowed to host and curate whatever they want, and they're not liable for any of it, including the choices they make in curation, like shadow banning conservatives.
Well stated.
And checking traffic this afternoon in Madera County, Avenue 12 at Riverston Boulevard. There's been a collision, no injuries. Also in Madera, Avenue 17, Road 26, a collision with no injuries. Tulare County, Road 176, that's actually Avenue 176, Road 128. There has been a closure there. Here's another way to win this March at Table Mountain Casino Resort. You can win a stoneware sell on Thursdays. That's a stoneware set on Thursdays from 5 a.m. to midnight. Earn 900 points playing with your rewards card. If you qualify, you win. You pick up your gift piece from the promotions counter while supplies last. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Hi, this is Julie Vogt with Roger Vogt's Performance Auto Diesel and Air, your dealership alternative, proudly serving the Central Valley for more than 46 years. We have the expert staff and diagnostic capabilities to take care of whatever type of vehicle you drive, gas, diesel, flex fuel, car, truck, SUV, RV, or motor coach. We're proud to be a AAA approved facility, a GM and Ford quality installer with a nationwide 2-year or 24,000 mile warranty program. From routine maintenance services to diagnostics and major repairs, even Titan auxiliary fuel tank installations. If you've even thought about a performance upgrade, ask for JJ, our performance expert. Air conditioning repairs and part sales? We do that. We offer a courtesy shuttle service. Vehicle pickup and delivery is also available. Call Rose and she'll happily take care of the rest. 635-3288. That's 635-3288. Roger Vogt's Performance Auto Diesel and Air. The best thing about living in Visalia.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The children's music and dance teacher who couldn't cha-cha.
I was always on my feet. It was just so painful.
Elisa couldn't let her students down, so she stepped up and went to the Good Feet store for personally fitted arch supports.
I would work an entire day, and my feet didn't hurt at the end of the day. That was when I knew, wow, these are different.
But the really good part?
It's good to be dancing together again.
Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia. Good Feet, the official arch support of Fresno State Athletics.
It's Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Yes, I make a living talking to myself, which means some forms of mental illness actually pay off.
Was it bad that I unplugged my cousin's life support to charge my phone?
Oh, shut the hell up.
March 23rd, Save Mart Center. Tickets on sale now at JeffDunham.com. He's coming to Fresno.
Silence! I kill you!
Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Coming soon from Valley PBS, the exclusive documentary film covering 100 years of KMJ. Stay tuned for details.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. This is the Afternoon Drive. My name is E. Curtis Johnson. Philip Teresi is here. So if you just joined us, we've been talking about how what we consume as information is not always news, and how we sometimes conflate it as such. I checked my my Facebook feed here during the break, and someone instant messaged me. I'm not going to give their name, although they are friendly to me, but they said, E. Curtis Johnson, shame on you. You failed to mention that talk radio isn't news either. Well, no, there is no shame on me, because I have never made that claim. Quite to the contrary, I have stated many times since joining this show that what Philip and I are talking about is talk. It's talk radio. It's why, for example, in the sake of our show, there's a guy named Jim Miller who comes on at the bottom of the hour and the top of the hour, and he says it's time for the news.
Yeah.
Philip and I have never intimated that what we are talking about or discussing is news. So no name of person withheld who decided to stab me in the back on Facebook. I have never claimed that what Philip and I is doing is news.
No, our job is to editorialize. It is to talk about the news. It is not to report the news.
And sometimes irritate some segments of society.
You irritate some, you entertain some. Either way, as long as they listen, I'm good. 4 hours a day, that's all we ask. Two thoughts to kind of put a bow on this very understandable freak out about the Twitter files. Because the way that Matt Taibbi reported the Twitter files was also extremely one-sided. And that, I think, was to appease Elon Musk in order to continue to have access. And that's one of those ugly realities of journalism, is if you want to have access, you have to protect the sensitivities of a given subject.
Yeah, don't hack off your source.
But if you want to get real transparency in the vein of preventing a repeat of what the Twitter files was mostly about, there needs to be a requirement that social media companies have a list of who has made takedown requests and why.
Good idea.
You don't need to talk about what the content is. You don't necessarily need to point to it. Again, I go back to the Biden campaign requesting that pictures of the would-be president's son's private parts be taken down. We don't need to see the thing that they wanted taken down. It's simply enough to say the Biden campaign requested that tweet at URL XYZ be taken down because it was a picture of Hunter's yayas. The other thing is you've got to end Section 230. You've got to stop protecting the social media companies from the consequences of the success of their platforms. If they are going to avail themselves of the right to curate, they need to be held responsible for the content that they host. Not because I'm worried about Dennis Prager making millennials mad saying there's only two genders. Not because I'm worried about Joe Rogan making folks mad because he thinks ivermectin cures everything. But because there's real unlawful things happening on these platforms. And while all of us are over here squabbling about this behavior that's engaged in by politicians with all levels of media going all the way back to Gutenberg, the reality is that these platforms are making a tremendous amount of money and generating a tremendous amount of user attention from the transmission of genuinely unlawful content, child pornography, drug deals, acts of violence, threats, stalking. All of that stuff exists on these platforms. And it is far more harmful than Donald Trump having somebody from his staff email the management of Twitter asking if the Chrissy Teigen tweet calling the President of the United States no words could possibly be removed. That's a real one. Trump's team, while he was the President of the United States, asked Twitter to take down a Chrissy Teigen tweet because she called him 3 words that, even out of order, I can't say on the radio.
Yeah, and both sides are doing that.
Both sides do it.
It's got to stop.
Yank Section 230. Make these companies accountable for all of the activity that generates the money that allows them to then play favorites with their favorite politicians.
This
part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try Babbel for free. That's Babbel.com.
Folks, there's a fast break with the game on the line. He dribbles down the court, passes ahead for the alley-oop, and it's caught for a slam dunk.
Do you need an assist? Regain and optimize your sexual performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to help in the bedroom. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 559-550-6771. That's 559-550-6771.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. With Central Valley in for another soaking today and bracing for more storms later this week. Visalia declared a state of emergency with a response plan now in place through Monday. Madera County issued new evacuation warnings while Merced County opened 2 more flood shelters. And in Tulare County, crews meeting every 4 hours as they monitor the Tule River, where water reached the spillway over the weekend. Well, the city of Reedley running out of sandbags. KMJ's Liz Kern reports.
Reedley city officials say sand and sandbags are running low throughout the county. Since Thursday, people have filled more than 6,000 sandbags at the site at I Street in Reedley. Officials finding that people are hoarding emergency supplies. Reedley residents near the Kings River and flood-prone areas are being warned to evacuate if necessary. The city's website has more emergency information at reedley.ca.gov. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Some people in Bass Lake returning home. An evacuation order for the Sierra Spring Village was lifted yesterday, 1 week after families had to leave, but the Madera County Sheriff's Office warns they may have to pack up again with a new storm moving in. The mobile home park has significant damage due to snow causing carports and roofs to collapse. A community meeting going to be held tomorrow at the Best Western. Well, farm tractor sales continued to drop in our nation. KMJ Ag Director Don York reports.
The latest data from the Association of Equipment Manufacturers shows that overall farm tractor sales fell for the month of February. This comes despite gains in the 100-plus horsepower and four-wheel drive tractors. Total farm tractor sales in the U.S. for the month fell 19.4% compared to February of last year and are down 17.2% year-to-date. The head of the Association of Equipment Manufacturers says most of those losses are the result of overly hot sales of small units during the pandemic. Don York, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Another rainy afternoon with highs in the low to mid-60s, overnight lows in the 40s. Today's atmospheric river is further impacting already swollen rivers and streams, keeping us under a flood watch through tomorrow morning. About a half to a full inch of rain expected on the valley floor with today's storm, and about 2 to 4 inches in the mountains below 7,000 feet. Above that, a winter storm warning with 2 to 8 feet of snow and 65-mile-an-hour winds. Finally, a high wind advisory for the west side and coastal range until late tonight, with wind speeds up to 70 miles an hour. For KMJ, from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic in Madera County in the area of Road 208 and 209. There's been a collision, no injuries involved there. Avenue 17 and Road 26, a collision with no injuries. In Tulare County, in the Porterville area, Avenue 176, Road 128, that road has been closed down. And then Avenue 120 and Road 28, there's been a collision with no injuries. DeBudio and Defendus Insurance has provided high-quality risk management and insurance solutions to local businesses. They've been named Central Valley's best property and casualty insurance company for 9 years running. Visit dibu.com and get the business insurance you need today. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and E. Curtis Johnson.
506, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Good afternoon. Welcome to hour number 4 of the Tuesday installment of your Afternoon Drive. That's E. Curtis Johnson.
Hello.
I'm Philip Teresi. We're glad you're along for the ride. Phones are open, 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. You can take us along for the ride with the new KMJ Now app, free in the Google Play and iOS stores. I am simultaneously pleased to be able to bring you a campaign announcement for the 2024 presidential campaign.
You got the inside track.
We have an inside track, and a campaign announcement went out over the weekend. And on the other side of the campaign announcement, for those of you that are not in on the joke, I will do my best to explain.
President Camacho on why he's running for president again.
What's up, America? Okay, now shut the up now. Got something to say. Now, I know you're all asking why I came back in time to run for president some more. The future is
China owns the moon.
Big Macs cost $80. The DMV bought HBO. The Senator of Florida, that mother puppy. And the worst part, bacon is extinct.
Camacho's got you.
I'm gonna fix all that now, so the future ain't broke later. Camacho and peace the out. That's right.
Ad paid for by Brondo Incorporated.
All right. So I will admit, I used to listen to Chris Daniel and Philip Teresi quite often. So because of that, even though I've never seen that movie, I'm guessing that is Idiocracy, right?
That is correct.
Okay. I will admit, there's a lot of satire in there, but there was one part that really grabbed my attention, that in the future, bacon is extinct. No, that can't be the case. Other than the rest of that, if you haven't seen the movie, there's a lot of inside humor in there, correct?
There's a fair bit of inside humor, although I think that it goes right to the potential for us to slide off into a dystopia if we don't start addressing some of these problems today. Unfortunately, I have learned that this is not, in fact, a promo or a teaser for a sequel to Idiocracy. This was a promo for a party at a bar at South by Southwest.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Terry Crews hosted this party. It was, they actually had him driving the streets of Austin, Texas, inviting people to the Camacho launch party that took place at the Banger's Sausage House and Beer Garden on Rainey Street, 6 o'clock Monday night. It's not that they're filming a new movie. It's a promo for a South by Southwest party.
So we got sucked in by a commercial, essentially.
We got sucked in by a commercial, and I'm disappointed that is the case. I think President Camacho coming back in time to run against the field of goobers and wannabes that are going to appear with the strange division that we see on the right and the 100-year-old man that we have at the head of the pack on the left. Even if they don't make the movie, I think that they could make a mini series of President Camacho running for president. Give me the campaign war room and just make it 10-minute hits that pop up on YouTube. I will subscribe immediately. But this movie it's vulgar, it's crass. There's no two ways about it. You will hear more F words in Idiocracy than you thought was possible to squeeze into a 90-minute movie. It's also absolutely brilliant satire, but it's not family friendly. Can't watch it with grandma. Would not recommend watching it with the kids. It's rough, but they make a really good point. If only the dumbest people in society continue to breed, if we continue to scare smart people out of making more smart people, we are eventually going to have to try to explain to the Secretary of Agriculture why you can't water the nation's crops with Brondo.
Okay, not to digress, but is this movie arguing that we're doing this with political candidates right now?
Well, actually, I think that this movie makes the intelligent argument that the quality of the political candidates is frequently a reflection of the quality of the voter base.
Ooh. Holding the mirror up to society.
Yeah, the opening of the film, and I wish I had an edited copy, but there is this brilliant kind of preamble. And on one side, you've got this yuppie couple, and you've got the guy with his sweater vest and his, cut hair and his Rolex on his wrist, and the wife is very nicely dressed, and everybody's got, taupe tones on, and we're all very NPR in how we talk to the camera, and we're very, very mindful of the fact that, well, first we want to make sure that we've got our 401ks funded before we bring a child into the world. And then over here you got Jim Bob, and Jim Bob's off with his high school sweetheart. And you just see that old 1978 Ford Ranger squeaky, squeaky, squeaky in the field outside of the Roadhouse bar. And you see a couple of additions to the family tree pop up over on Jim Bob's side. And then it goes back to the yuppie couple. Well, there was a little bit of a downturn in the market, and so we're going to hold off just a little bit longer because we want to make sure that we're on really secure footing, because having a baby is a big responsibility. And then it switches back, and Jim Bob's getting chased out of his trailer by his wife. There are 3 additions to his family tree since last we checked on him, and the wife's screaming at him as he goes running out of his home into the neighbor's home where he has been with that next door neighbor. And then you see the second family tree start to develop off of that relationship. And then it goes back to the yuppie couple, and they talk about some fertility issues, and we're considering IVF, although there's the possibility that the issue may exist over here. And then you've got Jim Bob's son, his oldest boy from obviously that night outside the Roadhouse, and now he's the high school football captain, and he's got 4 cheerleaders, and I'm going to make love to all y'all. And you see this whole other branch of the family tree start to populate. And then it goes back to the yuppie couple, except the husband's gone. And the wife says, well, unfortunately, James had a heart attack at work, and so I may consider artificial insemination at some point in the future. And then you see Jim Bob's family tree just completely crowd her out of existence.
Oh my goodness.
And it's the perfect setup to this story of the most average man in America accidentally being left in cryogenic stasis for 500 years and waking up to the consequences of that.
Well, that's an excellent explanation. You were very visual in that. I got the point. And the horrific thing is, I understand the point.
Uh-huh.
I get it.
It's brilliant, biting satire. And like I said, it is vulgar in a way that I'm a little surprised it didn't catch an NC-17.
That rough.
There are, man, you got anybody who's seen it knows exactly what I'm talking about. There's some commentary on the evolution of like chain restaurants and what used to be Fuddruckers and what it is called in the future. And it's super crass, or Starbucks no longer just has lattes. They've also got working girls.
Wow.
And it just goes off in this, the Costco as this monstrous, monolithic, you can get everything at Costco, and it's no longer just people schlepping shopping carts around a warehouse. They've got a train that runs around Costco because it's so big you have to get on the train to get where you're going. It's a great movie. I totally recommend it. I'm a little mad at Terry Crews for putting on the wig and doing President Camacho without a sequel in the works. We need a sequel to Idiocracy. We need President Camacho to come back and run in 2020. If I could figure out how to work getting Terry Crews onto a debate stage while all of these self-important stuffed shirts stand there and lie to our faces about all the things they're going to do to save the Republic, I could die happy.
Well, again, without having seen the movie, and I'm probably not going to, but it does illustrate the point of how much of a parody of itself present-day politics has become.
Oh, yeah. And that's going back to what we were talking about in the last hour, and this manipulation of, not even manipulation, just this appeal to social media to spin things, to serve the agenda. We look at the Twitter files and we're aghast. These people were sending private messages to insist that the content be removed from social media feeds. But doesn't this start to become a First Amendment issue? And of course, no, it doesn't. Twitter's a private company and they can deny the request if they wanted to. They don't want to. And they don't want to for the same reason that you will see, whether you're talking about national level, actual reporters. I'm not talking about talk show hosts like Anderson Cooper and Rachel Maddow, but actual reporters, nationally, locally, regionally. You'll never see them take a hard stance on a politician. You'll never see them call out if somebody's in the habit of making wild allegations and incredibly bombastic statements that never bear any fruit. You'll never hear a reporter go, hey, why are you holding a press conference? There's nothing to be said here. Hey, why did you ask everybody in local media to come out so you could congratulate yourself on a charitable donation? And legacy media is as guilty as new media. We want to protect our access because, golly, it's way more important that we get Fresno City Councilman John Doe from Area 9 to come be on the radio or to sit down on our Sunday morning talk program than it is to point and say, you lied to your constituents and created a problem where none existed.
Well, let me ask you a question. This may be a different subject, but I've heard you mention now in the last 7 days that we've been on the air at least 3 times that Elon Musk may very well be a Bond villain.
A little bit, yeah.
And I know your tongue's in your cheek a little bit, but is Elon is he a villain or a hero for exposing what he exposed?
If he had exposed the actual objective reality of the situation, that both sides are doing this, I would have called him a hero. But he was serving an agenda. I think Elon Musk is going to pop up and run for, or Elon Musk wants to run for president, I think in 2028. The next thing he's got to do is get popular opinion behind the revocation of the natural born citizen requirement.
Wow. That's a bold statement.
Yeah. Elon Musk wants to be at the top of the food chain. He's already the richest man in the world. Where do you go from there? Become the most powerful man in the world.
Shocking logic.
President Camacho, 2024. All in, baby.
And this report is brought to you by Evans Feed and Livestock Supply. In Tulare County, in the Porterville area, Avenue 176, Road 128, the road is closed down there. Avenue 120 and Road 248, the collision with no injuries. Also in Tulare County, Road 112 to Avenue 160 to Avenue 189, the road is closed down. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Mike Sherinian, owner of The Elbow Room.
For 25 consecutive years, the Elbow Room Wine Cellar has won Wine Spectator's Award of the Year. You've got access to wines at any price to meet your budget. Secondly, we're able to get spirits that typically you just can't find, like Blanton's and Whistle Pig, which are hugely popular. They make barrels of whiskey just for the Elbow Room.
At The Elbow Room, you can pair those wines and spirits with our incredible menu of 14 mouth-watering seafood and shellfish options, from Alaskan halibut to Australian lobster tail and more. Or treat your palate to our decadently delicious, temptingly tender, dry-aged beef. Great taste is served at The Elbow Room.
So if you're a whiskey or distilled spirits connoisseur, and if you want artisan tequila, we have unbelievable items. You're just not going to see them anywhere.
The Elbow Room in Big Garden Village. Call 227-1234 to make your reservations.
Hey, what movies do hens like most? Chick flicks. Get it? Hi, folks, this is Lon Hannah, and it's time again to decide between blondes, brunettes, or redheads. We're talking chicks, baby chicks, and from now through June, Evans Feed is your baby chick headquarters. They've got Rhode Island Reds, Americanas, Buff Orpingtons, New Hampshire Reds, you name it. Ducks, geese, and turkeys, too. On Thursdays only, buy a 50-pound chick starter and get 5 chicks free. This is Lon Hannah telling you to choose Evans Feed for your Western lifestyle in Madera, Chowchilla, and Porterville.
John Deere's 5M Series chore tractors are designed to maximize productivity, so you can mow, spray, harvest, and handle everything you need to get more done while working in your orchard. While you're there, check out Thomas & Tractor Showroom with everything from parts to apparel. They're now a full-line area dealer with boots and clothing. Thomas & Tractor Company in Fireball, where for over 55 years, they strive to provide their customers with individual, personalized attention. Thomas & Tractor Company in Fireball, where superior service is standard equipment.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
I know exactly how you feel. You're sitting there at the gas pump wondering, am I ever going to have a regular meal again? Because you're cutting out all the good food because you can't afford the gas, right? Wait until you see your next PG&E bill. No more meals out and no more hair because you're going to be pulling that out as well, too. Do what I did. Planet Solar. When you have a solar system put in by Planet Solar, you literally lock in your energy price forever. Don't you wish it could be that way at the gas pump? Sorry, but you can't do that there. But you can do it for your home with Planet Solar, and it all began for them right here in Central California. One of the things I really liked about these guys is their financing. Don't let the rate hike scare you away from going with Planet Solar. And they are really quick and good and efficient on installation, and they have become masters at putting together a complete solar package with a solar battery. So you've got the juice when PG&E says, no, you don't need it because we're trying to conserve to save the world. Click planetsolar.com. Do that. Call them at 228-9245.
Hi, I'm Scott Miller, President and CEO of the Fresno Chamber of Commerce, and I want to invite you to the Mobagunu Memorial Golf Classic on Thursday, March 30th at Sunnyside Country Club. What better place to do business than on the golf course? With over $100,000 in hole-in-one prize money and a chance to win a new car, this will be a golf tournament you don't want to miss. Foursomes are selling fast, so sign up today. Registration and sponsorships available now at FresnoChamber.com. That's FresnoChamber.com.
Thank you to our sponsors, Manchester Center and Precision Civil Engineering.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. My name is E. Curtis Johnson. Philip Teresi is here. This is the afternoon drive. I've mentioned this before. I might mention it again. This is the first time since 1987 that I can just concentrate on doing something that I love, which is, quite frankly, being on the radio. I'm not a boss. I don't have to be the boss here. I like that.
Which makes it totally convenient that this next story, I'm going to demand that you answer things the way a boss would.
Okay, no problem. So there's this new thing out called paid transparency. Gee, amazing! California has come up with another rule that they're imposing upon businesses. Here's what it's based of. In early December, 41% of daily active job listings on Glassdoor in California had pay ranges provided by the employer, according to analysis from the company's lead economist. So by the end of December, it was up 54%. By January 8th, when the law had been in effect for just over a week, it had climbed to 61%. And the new rule is about job postings. The law also allowed employers to ask for the salary range of their current job and has some new requirements around how companies keep pay records and report pay information to the state. But just because the law has taken effect doesn't mean that everyone understands or how this new law is supposed to work or who it applies to. So, gee, there's a shocker.
Mm-hmm.
California introducing a new rule, new law that nobody fully understands.
Yeah, hence the setup of this hotline that they put together for folks who are confused and trying to follow the law. And they're getting calls. They're right now they say they're getting about a call a day on average with businesses that just want to know, what do I need to include? What do I have to say here? And this really does have two parts. You've got the job posting must have salary range component, and then you've got the employee can ask for the salary range for their current position component. And like one of the things that California put into effect a few years back is any employee in the state of California can request their employee file, including any documentation about their performance. So in other words, not only can I ask for whatever records you have on me, but if my bosses correspond about me, I'm entitled to that as well. If it made it to my file, I'm allowed to have it because it's relevant to my employment situation.
Correct.
I think that's a brilliant law. I'm tempted to make that request, not because I'm worried about my employment status here, but just simply to see what's in my file, just to know what's there. And right now, the law as it's written, the companies have like 30 days to comply or they're subject to a fine, blah, blah, blah. In this case, do you think that there will be, not as an exception, but as a rule, extended and distorted salary ranges posted in order to give employers more leeway in benefiting with individual applicants?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't care what the law is that you impose upon an employer. They will find ways to bend that rule or seek for an exception. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If anything, I'm going to take the employer's side.
Okay.
I mean, and not just because for many, many years that's what I've been, but just because I hate all the stupid, silly control laws that California has. I mean, it's no wonder so many companies have left this state.
Posting the salary range, and I mean a good faith estimate of what the salary range is. In most straight jobs, a mindful employer has an idea of about what that job is worth, and that range exists because you might find somebody who has really exceptional work ethic and is super, super motivated but lacks a little education or experience. Or you may get somebody who has really fantastic credentials who turns up and applies for the job that would obviously be worth more than somebody who's just a go-getter. So a range makes sense. obviously some employer putting a range of minimum wage to $1 billion, they're gonna get called out. They're gonna get busted for not playing by the rules. Does this help people who are traditionally paid less? And I'm thinking in particular the pay gap between women and men.
Yes, absolutely it does. As someone who has done hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of job interviews as the employer.
Yeah.
If I had a budget of, let's say, well, I'm just going to make this extraordinary just for the sake of illustrating it.
Yeah.
So if my budget for hiring somebody was $1 million, and somebody came in and I was a candidate for the job, I would ask people what they expected to be paid.
Yeah.
And if that person said, well, I need to make $500,000, and if I knew full well that I could get somebody for $500,000, even though my budget was actually $1 million, for the most part, I would take them for what they were willing to work for.
Sure.
If nothing else, out of sheer logic, in that they stated what they thought their worth was, so I gave them what their worth was. And on the same hand, I met the requirements of the uppy-ups of, hey, I saved us some money. Because business, especially in California, is about doing business at the lowest cost you can possibly do. Because there's always some up jump the devil thing in this state. And that's true in other states also. Business is a dangerous thing. It's risky. It's unpredictable. And that's something that most employees don't understand. They think that the business is controlling everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And that's not true. Just as things can go south in a person's personal life, things can go south in business.
The other piece of this is the ability to ask for one's own salary range. And obviously in a situation like media, you've got this insane disparity. You can have somebody whose job is, their job title is television news anchor. And they are, 5 nights a week. They're on the evening news at 6, at 7, and at 11. And they're 2 years out of journalism school. And then you can have the guy across the street who's doing the exact same job on paper, but who's been in the market for 20 years and has the lion's share of the ratings in those time slots. You can have these massive disparities. If that new guy asks for the salary range and sees, oh, well, if I had the credentials of, so-and-so, I would have made twice what I'm making. Are people going to freak out and demand money that the company's never going to pay them because of salary ranges that represent experience beyond what they bring to the table?
Yes, and this new law will, I believe, make it harder for people to get jobs. It'll make it harder for people who are just entering the workplace to find employment. Because, again, the employer doesn't want to be held to they don't want to have to tip their cards before they have to.
Sure.
And negotiating a salary or a pay rate is a poker game.
Yeah.
Both sides of that equation are trying to get the other player to tip their hand first. And that eliminates that. I think in the long run, though, it's not going to benefit employees, especially people entering the marketplace for the first time or they have very little experience.
That's E. Curtis Johnson. I'm Philip Teresi. It's your afternoon drive on KMJ and KMJNow.com.
KMJ News Now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller here in the KMJ News Center. Here's what's happening. A Fresno man's in custody this morning. It follows a chase and SWAT call-out overnight.
Just after 11 Monday night, Clovis police tried to pull over a car for speeding near Clovis and Dakota. The driver, 29-year-old Mario Ramirez Romero, cooperated until he found out he was going to be arrested on a felony warrant. As he was trying to drive away, officers smashed his driver window with a baton just before he rammed 2 police cars and drove off. The chase began. It went into Fresno. Romero stopped at his home near Fowler and Kings Canyon and ran inside. Officers say he then opened the door, put a knife to his throat, and threatened to hurt himself. A negotiator was called out along with SWAT. Hours later, around 6 a.m., SWAT used less lethal rounds and Romero surrendered. He was taken into custody. He faces charges including resisting an officer. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Emergency help is on the way to families stranded in Three Rivers. Firefighters in Tulare County delivered food, water, and other vital supplies by helicopter yesterday. More than 160 people stuck on the other side of the South Fork Bridge after flooding washed out roads. Some areas were under at least 3 feet of water at one point, but with today's big storm, residents say they have no choice but to wait it out. Water officials monitoring Lake Kaweah and Terminus Dam as an atmospheric river dumps more rain to the Central Valley. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Sacramento District says water flowing out of the spillway at 4,200 cubic feet per second and will go up to roughly 7,800 cubic feet per second by Wednesday. The flow will decline into the weekend as rainfall weakens. The Corps says the dam is not close to overflowing. Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Another rainy afternoon with highs in the low to mid 60s, overnight lows in the 40s. Today's atmospheric river is further impacting already swollen rivers and streams, keeping us under a flood watch through tomorrow morning. About a half to a full inch of rain expected on the valley floor with today's storm, and about 2 to 4 inches in the mountains below 7,000 feet. Above that, a winter storm warning with 2 to 8 feet of snow and 65-mile-an-hour winds. Finally, a high wind advisory for the west side and coastal range until late tonight, with wind speeds up to 70 miles an hour. For KMJ, from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at Tuesday afternoon traffic in Tulare County, Highway 43, Avenue 56. The roadway has become flooded. In the Fresno area, northbound 99 at the Belmont off-ramp, there's a traffic hazard of some sort. And back to Tulare County, Road 112 to Avenue 160 to Avenue 184, closed down. Here's another way to win this March at Table Mountain Casino Resort. You can win a stoneware set on Thursdays from 5 a.m. to midnight or 900 points playing with your rewards card. If you qualify, you win. Pick up your gift piece from the promotions counter while supplies last. Your next adventure is at Table Mountain Casino Resort. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Selma Swap, buy or sell cars, parts, and big boy toys. March 18th, Highway 99 at Mountain View, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. SelmaSwap.com.
It's time for baseball in downtown Fresno. Don't miss a pitch of Grizzlies baseball this season as the team celebrates their 25th season. All the fun starts Friday, April 11th with fireworks, family fun, and more. Join the Fresno Grizzlies for an opening day unlike any other as they kick off what is guaranteed to be an exciting and historic year. Get your Fresno Grizzlies tickets and more now on Sweet Deals.
Ready for some baseball? You can see your Fresno Grizzlies with an unbelievable sweet deal from KMJ. Get this most incredible deal ever. Purchase a Grizzlies opening day pack, including family 4-pack field box seats, hot dog, chip, and soda vouchers, and Grizzlies hats for each. A $200 value for just $100. This certificate is print on demand, so you can even use it for other games if you miss opening day. But don't! These deals will be limited. Grab yours on KMJNow.com.
United Health Centers in Kingsburg is accepting new patients. We welcome you to make a medical appointment at this beautiful new health center located in downtown Kingsburg on 1251 Draper Street. Our providers care for patients of all ages and offer pediatric services to help your family be as healthy as possible. Call us today at 1-800-492-4227. 1-800-492-4227. United Health Centers. Wellness for a lifetime.
I am a very happy camper because I get to tell you about the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Yeah, exactly the same place I was talking to you about 15, 20 years ago. Do you know this local company is 42 years old? 42 years dabbling with trucks. I think they know what they're doing. And right now, I need to address you people that have companies and you people who are farmers with fleet vehicles. This is an area where the Noble Brothers have really carved out their expertise. Whether it's cabinets, truck racks, ladder racks, toolboxes, van interiors, van shelving, and a lot of it, remember I use the F word, Fleet. If you have fleet needs, you need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. 2 of them. One out in Sunnyside, the other one on Blackstone near Sierra. I got to know them when they turned a Jeep Wrangler of mine into a masterpiece. And I just got another Jeep. And they're doing it all over again. I can't wait for the finished product. Click nobletruck.com. Noble, Nobile. If it's a pickup, a van, a Jeep, oh, even a fifth wheel, you totally need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center since 1980.
Solar Negotiators wants people to know about our new Power Shift program. So we're offering $1,500 off per smart battery to customers now through May 31st. Be the first to experience the Power Shift. Call Solar Negotiators today for your free quote.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, then listen to Mark.
I had fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds, and more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic. I'll be totally honest, I tried a different product, and I wasn't happy with the different product. You guys are considerably cheaper than the other brand, and I can really feel the difference.
Andro 400 Max, the extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe, easy, and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Feel and look like a new man. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and E. Curtis Johnson.
Please help me welcome the new guy.
What did you expect? Welcome, Sonny. Make yourself at home.
Yeah, that's us. I'm the new guy. That's Philip Teresi. This is the Afternoon Drive. So when I say things like, I have lived in 3 different trailers and 2 different trailer parks in my life, it's only to say that I have lived a full life. I've done some pretty interesting things. I've done some pretty boring things. 2 trailer parks. One was the kind of thing that you would see, it's what you would expect of a low-end trailer park. The other one was actually a very nice kind of retirement center, and the other trailer I lived in was out in the woods of Washington, away from anything. We didn't even have running water. The point of that story is you may have heard of the trailer park called Trails End, which it's an interesting name for anything that says Trails End. Well, we'll just leave it at that.
Uh-huh.
But nonetheless, there was some controversy over that trailer park. You may have heard about it. I heard you guys talking about it a couple times. Broski and Masson have covered this story.
Yeah.
Well, an interesting side note: a trailer park has a spokesman, which in and of itself says, okay, all right, everybody has the right to representation. I get that. But the name of the spokesman is, and I have to be really careful how I say this.
I would start with the last name first.
Okay, so the last name is Jabloem, and the first name is Haywood.
Haywood.
So again, I'm kind of tiptoeing around this thing. In fact, if you go to the company's website, he actually has a profile. This Mr. Jabloem graduated from UCLA. He earned his master's degree in communications. Soon after that, he was recruited from Southern California and relocated to Burlingame. Your old neighborhood up there, Philip. Working in public relations with a handful of high-tech companies, managing their corporate identities and reputations. He enjoys traveling, spending, and perfecting his Italian cooking skills, and staying active by doing yoga and chasing his 2 golden retrievers.
I think the only part of this guy's profile that bothered me, other than the potential of accidentally saying his name in toto on the air, is that on his LinkedIn profile, they list him additionally as a former regional board member for the American Cancer Society.
Oh, they had to drag them into that.
They went all in on creating the profile for Mr. Jablom.
Why? I don't understand. This sounds like no. I would understand this as a stunt that a radio station would do.
Of course.
But
I think it was a song on Bob and Tom 20 years ago.
Could very well have been, but a trailer park. Why?
Well, you figure Harmony Communities is actually this big corporate entity, and probably somewhere in this big corporate entity, there has been repeated demand for comment on exactly the kinds of things that will come up when you manage manufactured housing communities. So you create this fake, by the way, that profile picture, I'm like 99% sure it's one of those AI avatars. That's not a human face.
Oh, this has definitely got to be an AI. No question. This is an AI.
Yeah, you see it too.
Oh, absolutely. This is not a photograph.
Yeah, there's something uncanny valley about it that just as soon as I saw it, I knew this wasn't a real person's photo. Matt Davies, son of the CEO of Harmony Communities, Bruce Davies, sought to highlight the fake employee in a LinkedIn thread. Let's get Haywood trending. He's our hardest working employee and best communicator. Is Matt tipping his hand a little bit there?
Yeah, but it's in a playful way. I mean, I think they're kind of admitting, all right, this is somewhat of a practical joke or maybe a publicity stunt. So, and who doesn't like publicity, right?
You're a management company for manufactured home communities. Why do you need publicity?
Okay, I will go back to the way that I started this. I have lived in 2 trailer parks, and all of the things that you suppose about low-end trailer parks,
yes,
they're all true.
Yes,
the drama that ensues in trailer parks is the stuff of legend.
Is what this really is boiled down to? Somebody being silly, picked a terrible name for what was really supposed to be an email account for all the whiners to just dump their spleens into?
Could very well be, but I got to give him an A+ for creativity.
He does, by the way, have an email address, haywood@harmony.com.
And there's a number, which I'm afraid to call.
I think just in the pantheon of weird choices by corporations, I love this. It's a little rude. It's a little silly. Nobody got hurt. It is a great example of a corporation basically saying, yes, we will accept your complaint. And that's the end of the thought.
Yeah. What you said, my friend.
And taking one last look at traffic on this Tuesday afternoon in Tulare County, Highway 43, Avenue 56. There has been a help called out for traffic control after flooding has begun there. It's northbound 99 at the Belmont Avenue off-ramp. There's a traffic hazard of some sort. And in Tulare County, Road 112 to Avenue 160 to Avenue 184. It's been closed down. Also in the Porterville area of Tulare County, Avenue 176, Road 128, the road was closed down there. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Tired of seeing your neighbor's Christmas lights at Easter? Tired of your neighbor's loud, obnoxious parties and stealing your parking spot? If you live in an HOA and you're not getting the services and support you need, let us help. We would love to be your property management company. Our HOA team here at Regency specializes in customer service, HOA management, CC&R rules enforcement, and community improvements. We help communities be neighbors and assist our boards in making the best decisions for your association. Let us help you increase your reserves, collect delinquent accounts, improve communication, coordinate fun neighborhood events, accomplish community projects, and more, all for a competitive rate. For homeowner association management, it's Regency Property Management at 559-221-3170 or online at regencyfresno.com. Let's improve your community together. Regency Property Management, 559-221-3170. Regency, helping communities be neighbors.
Is your well almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit StricklandWellDrilling.com. Whether it's the soft sandy soils of the west, the clay and cobble of the east, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today at 352-7228. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit StricklandWellDrilling.com.
There must be some serious madness this March at the Tachi Palace because we're giving away over $400,000 in cash and prizes. Ah! People told us we were crazy, mad even, to give away over $400,000 in 1 month, but we said it would be crazy not to give away over $400,000 in 1 month. I mean, it's madness for us to give away over $400,000 this March. Just to recap, March, $400,000 madness! The Tachi Palace Casino Resort. This is 40.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Vote on the Daily Buzz question at KMJNow.com. Sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Center.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet at KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Thus endeth the afternoon drive for today. Yours truly, E. Curtis Johnson, Philip Teresi. I'm going to end the way I started the show and wishing you Happy Pie Day.
Happy Pie Day.
3.14 on the calendar. I enjoy silly holidays, especially when they involve delicious meals. Like, for example, I can't wait to get out of here. I'm going to have chicken pot pie. And after we enjoy the chicken pot pie, it's cherry pie. Probably some vanilla ice cream on the side or the top.
That sounds all right.
It's Pie Day.
I know that I know that my doctor wants me to go home and eat a salad, but I'm really, really tempted to stop and pick up a pizza, as in pie, on my way home.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't think of it as food. Just think of it as math. And math is good for you, right?
I am sure that she will be thrilled with that argument when my cholesterol levels come back at tilt. If you are celebrating, however you are celebrating, Happy Pie Day. We're going to get out of here. The great one, Mark Levin, is on the way in just a couple of minutes. Something that we didn't get to today that I actually think is an interesting line to pursue. A new survey came out. Gen Z and the millennials say that women's rights have gone far enough.
Ooh, and the plot thickens.
The argument being that the feminists have crossed the line from equality into the degradation of masculinity. I expect to hear that from Joe Rogan. I expect to hear that from Andrew Tate. I expect to hear that, frankly, from most of the guys occupying high-profile slots in the media right now. I did not expect that to come out of the kids.
It's a little shocking.
So we'll dip into that tomorrow afternoon. Don't forget, we got a new app. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's free in the Google Play and the iOS stores. Just search for KMJ Now. Take us wherever you are. And if you missed any part of the show, part of that's the podcasts. You'll find those on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, anywhere you like to listen. Just search for KMJ's Afternoon Driver. Head over to KMJNow.com. Not only will you find E. Curtis and myself, but you'll find all kinds of great content from the entire KMJ lineup, and that is going to do it. Mark Levin is on the way after an update of headlines from the Fox News team and a check-in with our friends at the Valley's Legends and Legacies. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock with a bunch of millennials and Gen Zers saying, all right, broads, chill out, back in the kitchen, or something like that.
Good night.
Have a good night, everybody. Mark Levin is next.